This WAFL live stream is proudly brought to you by Ross's Discount Home Centre, Grant's Car Stereo Morley, Front Row Screens, your local streaming superheroes, and CD Dodd, scrap metal recyclers.
First few weeks were quite difficult, not knowing what was going to happen.
And then eventually we came back here and just hit the ground running, ready to hit the season.
I think we all knew the end goal was still there and we were still hopeful that the season was going to come back.
I always thought there was going to be a season. It's just a matter of how many games and what it would look like.
Hand pass out to Rowe. Rowe bombs it long from 55 metres out. Goes for goal and Roll gets the first one of the day. Claremont have the numbers out the back. No mark. Buller. Inside defensive 50 and Claremont are away. Tight angle. What can he do here? Corey Hitchcock. He's got it! Good morning, West Australian football fans, and welcome to WA Football's biggest day for season 2020. It is Grand Final Day, and Front Row Screens is here to broadcast the Reserves Grand Final between the undefeated East Perth, who are looking to win their first premiership in reserve since 1983, and Claremont looking to erase the heartbreak of 2019 and going one better. Paul Persick with you, and as always, it's a great pleasure to have your company, all thanks to Ross's Discount Home Centre, Grant's Car Stereo, CD Dodd and Front Row Screens. And joining me is my football colleague, Matt Chechens. Matt, a great day for football ahead at Fremantle Oval, and the grand final between East Perth and Claremont is going to be one to remember.
Good morning to you, Paul, and looking forward to what's going to be a fantastic day. Brilliant atmosphere today. 11,000 people will be through the grounds.
Yeah, they certainly will, in what is going to be a fantastic day of football. Yes, it's going to be quite a fantastic day of football. We do apologise for a few sound difficulties, but in the meantime, Claremont and East Perth looking set together for the national anthem and the welcome to country. East Perth going in undefeated for season 2020, and of course Claremont. They finished in third after being 1 win and 3 losses across 2020, and they'll be aiming to erase the heartbreak of season 2019 when they lost the grand final by 6 last year to West Perth. Couple of key weapons for the Claremont side there. Tom Curran, Thomas Ledger and Edward McGinnity will be huge for the Tigers. And there you see the Reserves Premiership Cup. It's decorated in both the teams' colours, but it'll only go to one of them. Will it be the Royals or will it be Claremont for season 2020 in a year tainted of uncertainty? And now we have a grand final after what has been an exciting, albeit condensed season of football. As we're about to get set for the national anthem. The national anthem done and dusted for the grand final, and now the captains of the East Perth and Claremont football clubs. Tom Curran, the captain of Claremont, and the captain of East Perth is Nathan Arbin, and Arbin has won the toss, and the Royals will kick to the hospital end here at Fremantle Community Bank Oval. Matt Chechens and Paul Persick with you. Matt, as we mentioned, big game and a big day for West Australian football. East Perth looking to break a drought of 37 years, while for the Tigers, they won in 2016, but of course looking to erase the heartbreak of last year.
Yeah, and going down by just a goal as well, obviously heartbreaking. A lot of those players will have that no doubt lingering in their minds throughout the afternoon. Look, Claremont's defence today, which one's going to show up? Is it going to be the league's worst defence is what we saw throughout the home and away season, Paul? They leaked 71 points per game to opponents. However, they just turned that number on its head last week and absolutely thumped a more favoured Subiaco lineup, and they held them to just 25 points. So who's going to show up today? And we know that East Perth have got a tall, dynamic forward line, so that'll be a key part in today's matchup.
And you touched on that forward line. You've got Turner, you've got Hooper, and also Ben Maguire, who's pretty versatile on his feet. When I saw the game between East Perth and Claremont earlier on in the season, he played a little bit up the ground and also up forward as well. He's a valuable weapon in the forward half.
Yeah, and look, Claremont have a pretty short half-back line. You look at Bailey Bennett and Jamie Paul, you've got Jai Clark, and having to go up against Dobson, who's about just over 192 centimetres and 92 kilograms, and then you throw in Queck, who's just an unbelievable athlete. I'm looking forward to seeing him. He's got a huge leap. He stands at 193 centimetres, but just under 70 kilos. So they'll want to do physical, try and work him under the ball, because if he gets any airspace, it's game over.
On the Claremont side, really looking forward to seeing Tom Curran. He's played a handful of league and reserves games this year, but he's a key leader in this side, as is Thomas Ledger. He's important down back and in the centre. He's reliable as in an intercept marker, and he's balanced on his feet when the ball is inside the defensive 50, so he'd be another key. And also Edward McGinnity. He's a tough little nugget. He's not afraid to put his body on the line when the ball's at ground level, so watch out for him this morning.
You have a look at Curran and Ledger combined. They played 33 AFL games for St Kilda, and Curran playing 25 of those, kicked 9 goals. So he is a very dynamic forward. Throwing Isaac Barton, I'm really looking forward to seeing him on the ball today.
Now for the tips, who's going to take this one out, Matty?
I like East Perth. I mean, obviously they're 8 and zip. Claremont, it's going to be a tough ask for their back line, as we said earlier. They will not want to let East Perth off the chain. They gave up 5 goals to 1 back in round 4, their only meeting.
I'm going to go with East Perth as well. Their team lineup now, thanks to Grant's car stereo. As you can see, Rowe and North and Mazzando in the back line. And as we mentioned, Dobson and Kuek are going to be key weapons in that forward line. And no doubt East Perth will have that experience of an influx of league players.
Yeah, Christian Amaduri, a great on-baller as well.
And also Claremont, Daisley and Lee, Davis and Goddard on the bench, and Elliott, Rushforth and Wallace, the centremen for the Tigers. And Tom Curran, as we mentioned, is going to be a big weapon in that forward line. And Corey Hitchcock, he can kick them from anywhere. He's like the young Malcolm Blight of his day, mercurial and freakish in his goal-scoring abilities.
Who knows, if he takes one after the siren, you might be drawing that comparison a little bit closer.
This is it. The WAFL Grand Final for 2020, the reserves here at Fremantle Community Bank Oval. It's going to be Amos and Miller that'll do battle in the first ruck contest. We're glad you can join us wherever you may be across Western Australia and the football world. There's the bounce, and they both miss it. The ball bounces in favour there of the Claremont player in Smallwood. Smallwood hacks it forward into the path there of Malone. Malone was dispossessed. Claremont gain a further 10 metres. Well played by Riley. Gets the hand pass out to Gorta. Howe puts boot to ball towards right centre wing. Up towards Maguire. Good pick up, but he's caught immediately in the tackle there by Boyatis. And it's going to be a repeat in proceedings.
Good early start from Claremont, and we spoke about off-air how tenacious they were in that prelim final last week.
Can they prove it again? First quarter thanks to Grant's car stereo. The tap there by Goddard finds its way towards Hitchcock. Hacks it towards the forward 50. They'll contest about 60 metres out. Eaton, he was dispossessed. Rowe put immediately under pressure. And it's going to be another ball up. And like he said, which Claremont side is going to show up? Is it going to be the side that is ranked worst in league defence or the best in reserves? That'll be another big question. Goddard taps it in front, puts boot to ball. Beautifully played there by the East Perth player in Mazzando. Under pressure, gets a hand pass out to Rowe, I should say. And Eaton tackled hard there by Curran. And it'll be a ball up just inside the Claremont forward 50. Of course, Claremont kicking to the left-hand side of the ground here at Fremantle Community Bank Oval. Goddard taps it back, and he's looking for Lee. Brilliantly played there by Elliott but was dispossessed immediately. Allsop kicking it towards their 50, and East Perth are away. Mazzando, well stood up in the tackle, gets the hand pass away. They've recovered out of the defensive 50. Eaton needs to keep his feet against Rushford. He does it brilliantly. The hand pass out to Maguire. They're on the outer wing. The kick goes inboard and finds Mitchell Dobson. Hand pass immediately, releasing Arbin. Arbin's kick towards the inner wing of the ground. Well played there by Turner. Breaks through one tackle, and he's got a target up forward. Brilliantly spoiled there by Goddard. Goddard will look to recover. He's caught in the tackle by Turner. The hand pass comes out. Amajuri under pressure, and the ball goes over the line for a throw. Well played there by Curran to block off the East Perth entry into their
We need to give
450.
credit to Goddard as well. I mean, obviously starting on the ball and tracking back across half-back to effect that timely spoil. So we see the intentions of East Perth at the moment. They delivered the ball straight inboard. So boundary throw in, still yet to open an account. Goddard maybe got a shove, but a big fist on the footy there getting it forward was Amos, and we bottle it up again. Paul, I think we need to congratulate Claremont. I know it's a huge day for their football club today, appearing in all 3 grand finals, but they claim their 17th Rodriguez Shield. That's the best combined record at League, Reserves and Colts. So setting the standard, Claremont ball in towards centre half forward, the first forward 50 entry of this term for them. Player ducked his head, the Claremont player. No free kick forthcoming, and again the tough tackling continues as we have another ball up.
And the game back in round 5, Claremont, they were able to try and get repeated entries, but East Perth were able to defend brilliantly. Now East Perth have got the ball in their forward 50. What must the intent of Claremont be in defence?
And only 4 points that margin back in round 5 as well. So Claremont, they stand up across half-back. That's a good mark, going back with the flight of the ball.
Fulgrave.
Into the hands of Fulgrave. So Fulgrave looks over his left shoulder. He's willing to recede a little bit of ground. We see this so much in modern football, this horseshoe slinging action across half-back as they look to peel it back in towards the corridor. Arbin walks around the mark. It was closed down. Lucky to get the kick away, in fact, from Barton. And that's a good, strong, contested mark at centre half forward. So the Royals looking to build. A couple of bodies hit the deck. So pumped forward now by Dobson. He's such a key ingredient. Up towards Queck. And a quick snap for goal, just misses to the left-hand side. So the first score, a minor one. East Perth looking to be a little bit dangerous. That come off the boot of Hooper. They have an early lead.
On the Grants Car Stereo scoreboard, 1 behind East Perth. No score to Claremont. The WAFL Reserves Grand Final of 2020 coming to you live from Fremantle Community Bank Oval. The ball is brought back into play. That's a lovely kick. And Claremont, they're able to recover. The kick's an ordinary one. And it was into the path there of Nathan Eaton, who took the good intercept mark. And now they're looking to peel back inside their forward 50. The kick in the direction of Eaton. And a beautiful mark over the top. Sebit Queck. We mentioned him. He's tall, he's lean, he's built like a beanpole, but he's very athletic and can take a good overhead mark. We mentioned this off the air, Matt. He's going to be a prime target inside that forward 50.
And an accurate kick for goal too. 9 goals, 2. He's also kicked 2 league goals. So a man with a very bright future.
So Queck is going to have a kick from about 35 metres out on a very difficult angle. And this will be for the first goal of the morning. Drop punt on its way. Umpire doesn't have to move that much, but it veers to the right. And it is another behind. So East Perth managing to get some scoreboard pressure, but not maximising it as of yet.
Stiff breeze too, blowing to the left of screen. Paul's out in the ground. It is beautiful conditions.
Absolutely, as Corey Hitchcock marks on centre half back. They're going to move it quickly. It was in the direction of Lee, but the ball goes over the top of the pack. It's a foot race. Leading that foot race was Barton, but brilliantly played there by McKenzie. Read the contest brilliantly. Hand pass out towards Hayden.
Great vision.
Goes out wide. Very good play from East Perth, finding Harley Sparks. Sparks kick. Grubber. Amajuri's hand pass. An ordinary one. Davis. And now East Perth. They've got the numbers on the inside. Sparks again. Kicks towards a vacant area. Queck, brilliantly gathered. The hand pass, looking there for Amajuri and Allsop. This time, it's Dobson. He snaps towards goal from 35. An ordinary kick, but it was marked under pressure there from Goddard inside defensive 50. He goes for the kick and finds Ben Rushford on the back line. They're going to concede some ground here, and they find William Riley. Riley's kick again towards a 2-on-1. Courage running back with a fly to the ball there. That again was by Shaquille McKenzie. He's had a consistent season in reserves. And McKenzie will build for the Royals. Goes for the pass, back inboard, finding Amajuri. Not a lot of options presenting, so he's going to have to set it up. No, he elects to go short. That's a clever kick. And East Perth have got the numbers in that forward zone. That mark there, Christian Amajuri. And he's going to look to set this one up. He's going to back himself in here. He's signalling for his boys push to the top of the goal square, which he does. They've got Kuek on the back target. Goddard brilliantly spoiled. Unable to pick that up cleanly was Daisley. He's caught in a great tackle there by Hart. The umpire says, give it to me. We'll have a ball up about 15 metres out from the Royals' goal.
Paul, alarm bells must be ringing at the moment for the Claremont. I mean, you're having a look at the way that East Perth are so clean with the football and just regularly entering inside attacking 50. So Claremont kick down the line. Big pack of players, big fly at the back, through the hands. Claremont, their chance to build something through the middle of the ground. Well judged mark, just floating back with the flight of the ball there was Elliott. Rather, that was North, my apologies. So East Perth look to go forward again. They kick up towards that hot spot. Through a set of hands, Goddard on the scene again. The crumbing halfbacks will want to get there for the Tigers. Bit of basketball being played on this near side. Football gets jarred loose, and again, Claremont at the coalface seem to be up for the fight this afternoon.
Maybe though East Perth have been able to lock the ball in inside their forward 50 with some good forward pressure. Credit must go to Claremont for really applying the effort to restrict Royal scoreboard pressure.
So Goddard slaps it forward with the left hand. Hurried kick will be ineffective. Lovely little hand pass. They link up well up towards centre half forward. That was Tom Lee, but he just ran out of legs. Well done again, East Perth. So the hand pass received now by Masando. They look to go straight through the corridor. They're not messing around this afternoon. How will Claremont stand up again? Up towards Queck, but he couldn't take the effective mark. Slapped out of there, up towards true centre half back, and again they have to kick off a step, so it's hurried. Good spoil on the footy this time by Mania. He looks to just try and keep it in front of his body. He does so well, but he's corralled by the East Perth Royals players, and they're asking for the holding the ball, but there'll be no prior opportunity. Another ball up.
Brilliant effort there by Mania to keep his feet against Spark. They're very quick on their feet, but it was just keeping yourself balanced on your feet while the ball was at ground level. So Mania with a very good effort there as the ball is thrown up. Goddard, first tap out. Immediately out to Curran. Umpire calls play on. It's a real hot potato out there. Ball spills back into the contest. Sparks breaks through one tackle. Looping hand pass over the top. That's good play. Amajuri, short pass. Finding Arbin. Sends it towards the forward 50. Kuek over the top. No mark. That was brilliantly spoiled. And now Claremont look to recover. Davis almost caught in the tackle by Kuek, but Davis breaks through. Long kick towards the centre square. Big pack of players flying. Riley. They've got the numbers on the outer, but Claremont have found an option here. Edwards. Edwards' kick out towards Lee. Brilliantly spoiled there by Riley. They're looking to keep their feet. Riley still at the front of the football. It's a foot race. Was there holding on?
Superb.
And that was courageous defence there by the Royals. The spoil provided there by Daniel Howe, and that's Claremont's first score on the board.
They looked in big trouble going back with the flight of the ball. That was superb.
Give tremendous credit there to Daniel Howe. Never stopped running when the ball was trickling towards the top of the goal square. And now Claremont are looking to put on the forward pressure themselves. Young's kick back out of defensive 50, but only temporarily. East Perth now back under pressure. Beautiful tackle being laid there by Ledger.
Holding the ball.
And it's holding the ball. Free kick. In fact, it was by Rushford, and the free kick will go Rushford's way. McKenzie and Amajuri there just talking. In fact, it's been taken by Jai Clark.
How slick and clean of the ball use been from both teams. It's probably opposite to what you're used to seeing in a grand final with nerves, but not in this game.
Clark sets it up to the hot spot, and it's close to the boundary line, and it goes over. And it's out of bounds on the full, and there'll be a free kick. It'll go the way of the Royals, and one of the Tigers is down. Really went in hard at the contest. And that was Thomas Lee, the big weapon. He's limping. He's not able to put some weight on that left leg, so that could be a blow for the Tigers as Mazzando out of defensive 50. Good kick and finds Sparks. He breaks away. Two bounces. Past the centre circle. Goes towards the forward 50 looking for Kuek. Kuek can't take the mark. He was put under pressure. Brilliantly played there by Underwood. Smallwood, I should say, and Riley. And they're able to recover out of the defensive 50. Poor communication from the Tigers. They almost were able to leak it. Towards a 2-on-1, Claremont out of defensive 50, and Corey Hitchcock. Great mark at full stretch. And the ball is on Claremont's half-back line.
Ball up towards the wing. Lee did well. Just worked his opponent under the footy as East Perth looked to rebound. So it's onto the chest now of the 31 in King, assessing his options. He's looking to come inboard. The umpire says you've gone around the mark, so he just chips down the line into the hands of Amajuri. Amajuri, that's a spearing ball into the pocket, and again, Claremont getting a fist through the football and out of play for a boundary throw-in.
You have to give credit to Jack Buller there. He was able to keep on running against his forward target and provide the spoil.
It looks as though Tom Lee is okay. He'd be big out as he was limping before, or was that Curran?
Oh, it was Lee.
Yep, Lee. So it looks as though their leading goal kicker is going to be okay for now. So slapped up towards the hot spot. Again, mopped up by the Tigers' defence. Big searching kick just through the hands there of Minia. He started pretty positively. They look to transfer play out towards the outer wing. Key contest to be won there. No player was legged, so the umpire says play on. Somehow the ball's smothered. Brought down at ground level. Good tackle. Jarring the footy loose. Players are in there smothering the football. This is good work. Starting to get a little scrappy now, but Claremont, clean hands this time as they kick up towards half forward. All through the hands there, and it's going to be mopped up quite easily by the Royals. So skills going at a high efficiency at the moment, both teams. That kick hangs a long time through the corridor, but it's effective. So playing on with the football is Masando. They kick inside forward 50 again. Good spoil on the football by Riley. Brought it down to ground level. Now the big bodies go crashing in. It's a long way to stoop down to pick up the football. Back half pressure again. That was in the back to the Claremont player. The umpire said no. So East Perth throwing their body across the defender's boot. Again, they gain about 5 metres, and that was through sheer determination. And really, both these teams not holding back, Paul.
No, they certainly aren't. They know what's at stake on grand final day like this, and both East Perth and Claremont, they're willing to put everything on the line.
One down again by Goddard. Liked his start in the early stages, and we might have a secondary ball up. And the umpire spotted a high shot, and it's going the way of East Perth. So a chance for the first major of the morning. We had a set shot on the far side of the ground by Queck, but this is dead in front. Paul was out in the ground pre-bounce. There is a stiff breeze blowing. This will be coming into the face of the kicker, so we'll wait and see if it does affect the length of this kick, but it was probably a 1 to 2 goal breeze.
Possibly, and Jack Cooley there, the man who's going to take the free kick. That was a little bit of out of character there for Claremont. If you have a look at their disciplined defence early on, that was one free kick they didn't want to give away.
There haven't been too many being paid in the early stages, so the umpire's doing a good job of letting them play. So he's kicked 2 goals, 3 in the reserves this season. Can he move that to a 50% ledger? You bet he can. Gun barrel straight, and the first to the minor premiers. East Perth finally get reward for a barrage of inside 50s, and finally the dam wall had to break for the Claremont defence.
Well, the intent has been clear from both sides. Don't give anything away, but with that free kick, they did have a little bit of luck go their way, as you can see here on the CD Dodd replay. Cooley, cool as a cucumber, and pumped to get the first score on the board. The major, that is, for the East Perth side. But again, it's that intent, that forward pressure that East Perth are bringing at the moment.
Great finish too. Goal umpire did not need to budge. So the biggest lead of the morning so far, just 7 points on the Grants Car Stereo scoreboard.
It'll be Amos and Goddard that'll do battle in the next ruck contest. East Perth going in undefeated. And of course, Claremont, they only were 1-3 to start the season. They had to win all their remaining games. Riley comes in to lend a hand, gets the tap out, only as far as Curran. Hand pass out, Rushford. Claremont have got numbers. The kick out there by Elliott towards the forward zone. Good spoil from behind. Barton laid down hard, and a good tackle there by Sparks, and the umpire will ball it up just on the edge of the centre square. It's on the attacking side of centre for Claremont. They'd love a response here, the Tigers. They need to show that intent that they had in the first few minutes. Hacked forward by Sparks towards a 1-on-1. Queck kept his feet, laid his body on the line. Looked like he really had to risk it all there, but Claremont have got the ball through Davis. Breaks through one tackle. Goes with the left foot. It's towards the forward 50. Lee at the pack. McGinnity over the top. Couldn't hang on to it. And East Perth have got the numbers to recover here.
Paul Queck's still down in the middle of the ground too on his haunches, so he may have caught one around the head, and that would not be a good sign.
Nah, especially with the dynamic forward line they got. They could be minus one of their weapons. Amajuri. Hand pass back into Sparks. A kick down the line towards the inner wing. Dobson with the crumb. Gathers quickly with the left foot. 2-on-1 contest. Claremont favoured by that. Almost a mark to Rushford. Umpire calls play on. And Amajuri We'll see that ball over the line. There's a bit of feeling in this one.
Yeah, there is. And look, quick in the hands of the trainer now. And he just got to his feet, making his way very, very slowly towards the interchange gates.
Must have taken a real hard knock to the head, as you mentioned. But it's a free kick in the meantime, because it looked like it was out of bounds on the full on the last touch. And that'll be Ben Maguire, who's going to take the kick for the Royals. Now the umpires have been deliberating. Now it's a throw-in. Bit of confusion on the umpire's part. But it'll be a throw-in about 65 metres out from the Royals' goal. They're seeking their second. Claremont held to just one behind. As we approach 17 minutes, Riley snatches it out of the contest. The kick towards the forward 50. Big spoil from behind into the path of Goddard. He can't take clean possession. Allsop, quick kick out towards the forward zone. Brilliantly picked up by Turner. He couldn't grab hold of it. The hand pass out to Maguire. Snapping from 35. Will it go through? It's at the post. Well, that would have been a bit of breathing space for the Royals if that hadn't got through for a major. But very lucky Claremont they were indeed not to concede a second goal. And they really need a score on the board here, do the Tigers, Matt, if they want to get a little bit of momentum back their way early on in this grand final.
Particularly with that 2-goal breeze as well. So as you can see that now, 55-metre ball towards the outer side. Claremont finally gets some run now on the outer wing. They go back inside 50. That is a well-weighted kick. One-on-one contest. They stand up well, trying to track back on the footy. Just losing their feet at the last second. They're mad scramble in the pocket. Can they keep it alive? It's done very well. Great tackle. Slings, jars the footy loose in the tackle. In goes Curran tenaciously and stops the East Perth ball carrier for another stoppage.
Phenomenal effort there by Young. Simply incredible against the speed of Curran. He really had to keep his balance and get first to the football, and he really did it brilliantly.
So the bevy of bodies play stack on the mill yet again. Claremont have had limited inside 50s, 5 by my count. And double that to East Perth, only for an 8-point margin. So 1-3 to 1 behind. Seen a rejuvenated backline from the Tigers last week against Subiaco, holding the reserves there. That was the high-octane, high-scoring Lions team to just 25 points. I'm going to need to do it 2 weeks in a row, you would suggest. They get a flying shot for goal, and that's just going to miss to the near side. So they cut into that margin only by a point, as East Perth will bring it back in. This is Eaton.
Haven't got a lot of players onto the right-hand side, so they'll have to present some open space.
And they do. They chip it in to North. North moves it further down the line to Gorta. So Gorta's looking inboard. I like how East Perth are just taking a risk as he peels off the 45-degree kick in towards the middle of the ground. This is where they've been so effective, and they're out now. So scrapped forward there by Amajuri. A whistle and a hold. So they play on, onto the right boot of Allsop. That was a well-weighted kick, but just through the hands of the intended target in Armajuri. Manages to kick up to the hot spot, but no one at home for the Royals, and the Tigers again mopping up from half-back.
Beautiful kick finding Ledger, and now the Tigers moving it from the right half-back, the left half-back flank. Short pass out to Wallace. Wallace going down the line, just over the head of Malone. He couldn't reel it in with the one hand, and East Perth with the turnover. Now towards left half forward. Hand pass over the top. Looking for Mazzando to Sparks. Sparks from 40. Goes for goal. It veers to the left-hand side. And it's another behind. The 4 behinds to the Royals in this quarter. But they've impacted the scoreboard a lot more in that opening term. Claremont, despite their injuries inside 50, they just haven't been able to convert. Quick snap around the corner. Finds Max Minia. Minia presenting an option down the line. Rushford. Big punch away. Into the path of Rowe for East Perth. Beautiful hand pass out towards Young. And now they're away again, the Royals. Better watch out. McGinnity was coming in from behind, but was able to get the kick just in time. And again, Claremont's defence with more numbers. Through traffic there is Curran. Kick towards the forward 50 and playing in front brilliantly there with good intent was Taylor North.
Well, that's the difference right there, Paul. Kicking to a 2-on-1, whereas East Perth aren't. However, they've turned it over.
Hand pass out to Barton. Barton looking for the short kick. Out towards there in Malone. Malone under a bit of pressure now. Numbers gathering at the ground of the football. Well done there by Rowe to rescue for East Perth. And now they can slow things down through Nathan Arbin in that defensive 50.
They'd be disappointed there. They had so many options moving forward and they just butchered the footy.
Short pass out wide, finding Nathan Eaton. Then 188 centimetres.
Some tall timber for the Royals.
Especially at the defensive end where they're needing to restrict Claremont's scoreboard pressure, because that was a really big key for them last week in the preliminary final. And they go down the line finding Nathan Arbin again. He just kept on running unchecked. From the defensive 50 towards the edge. Arbin goes down the line. Huge pack of players will fly. One of them there is Rushforth. He couldn't take the mark. Out the back, Anderson. Hand pass out to Elliott. Goddard now. Back to Anderson. Anderson hacks it forward towards the forward 50. 2-on-1. Big punch away there by Minia. And East Perth again with more defensive numbers. Eaton. Long kick towards right centre wing.
1-on-1 forward of the ball here, Paul.
Getting the sit is Amajuri. He's looking to break the current tackle. Breaks through. Just couldn't keep his balance, but he's able to recover. He's going for the hand pass over the top. Finding Allsop. Breaks one. Breaks two. Goes with the left foot from 30. It's coming back. Not far enough. And punched through there by Albert Dean. And it's another behind. Again, the transition football by East Perth proving its intent, but not being rewarded on the scoreboard.
I love that effort from Amajuri. I know he lost his feet, but he still managed to keep his composure, and they get a scoring shot, albeit just the minor score. So they bring it back out to this near side again. Out of play chance for the Tigers to reset. And how's the stiff arm at right half forward from Amajuri?
A little bit of a don't argue there. We don't mind that at any level of football.
If they manage to kick one there, that's a goal that can kind of lift a team. So 1-5 to 2 behinds as we have ticked over almost into the 23rd minute. So 25-minute terms, no time added on. So in the closing stages, Claremont will want to stand up, not concede a major. East Perth just get the hand pass away. Bit of a slinging handball up towards Amajuri again. He ran out of space, so he kicks it further forward. Bit of an awkward bouncing ball. Was that high, or did the player duck? The umpire says play on. That opens the door for the soccer down the line. Got to be clean here, and they are. So they've got a 2-on-1 outer side. They link up beautifully. Have a look at this. So can Claremont get a late goal? Two bounces on the outer side. They sweep it forward by hand. They're looking to move it by hand more than kicking. Finally, a long kick inside 50, but again, no one at home for the Tigers, and the Royals mop it up.
Been impressed with Rao's performance in the defensive 50 so far. He's not only been there for the contests at ground level, but has often been those ones that could really take a risky mark on the last line of defence. So East Perth, in just about the last minute of this opening term, can slow it down a little bit because they can't afford to concede a late goal here, and they're going to go back to Rao.
I mean, how important was that spoil going back with the flight of the ball about 5 minutes ago? Saved a certain goal.
Yeah, there have been a couple of good spoils inside 50, which have been critical in the context of this game. Rowe, going to send it long. Outside defensive 50, players will fly. Good play from Amajuri. Able to mop that one up. The hand pass comes out. Ball spills free. Young. And now Amajuri. Amajuri goes to Allsop. Just within the defensive 50. Inside the last half minute of this opening term, the kick disappointing and finds Goddard. One more chance maybe for the Tigers. They're in prime territory. It's in their attacking zone. Goddard's going to have to risk it if he wants the biscuit. He goes long. They'll contest about 30, but a beautiful mark in front. Taken there by Tom Gorda. And Gorda will again clear out of defence for East Perth. And they can slow it down if they want because they know the siren's just about due to go. The ball on the right half back flank. Going down the line and finds Amajuri. Amajuri has the ball on the back flank. And the siren goes. The end of the first quarter. A lot of opportunities from both sides, but East Perth go into the second quarter with a lead of just 9 points. 1-5-11 to 2 behinds in the WAFL Reserves Grand Final here at Fremantle Oval. Matt, big opportunities for both sides, as we mentioned, and a lot of intent being shown. Just not a lot of reward on the scoreboard because there would have been a 2 to 3 goal quarter. Yeah,
and look, I think East Perth are going to be happier, obviously, with the scoreboard pressure at this stage, but just the way they're moving the ball, they like to take the game on. We saw with Amajuri at half forward with a stiff arm, but they're taking risks, particularly moving the ball from their half back line. They're bringing it into the corridor. When you have a look at Claremont, having to kick to a contest, and when they do get to half forward, they're kicking to 2-on-1s against them inside forward 50. They're just not getting any clean ball use moving forward.
And that's going to be a big question. How will Claremont's ball movement improve in that second quarter, but also East Perth's defensive intent, because they had it controlled in their defensive zone in the last couple of minutes, but they were able to get some good recovery, intercept marks through Rao and, of course, possession from Young.
I think East Perth are happy, content with that ball going down the line, so we'll see what happens in the second.
9 points is the difference in favour of East Perth. We'll be back with the second quarter of the Reserves Grand Final here at Fremantle Community Bank Oval in just a moment.
If you need it live streamed, you need Front Row Screens. Visit frontrowscreens.com.au. Grant's Car Stereo Morley. Proudly supplying and fitting quality car stereos for over 15 years. Selling top name brands like Alpine, Focal, Rockford Fosgate. From a simple upgrade to complete custom systems. Stop in and see Grant and the boys at 61 Russell Street, Morley. Or visit us online at carstereo.com.au.
Fremantle Community Bank Oval for the second term of the WAFL Reserves Grand Final 2020. And it is the Royals leading by 9 points, 1-5-11 to 2 behinds. Paul Bursick and Matt Chechens with you all throughout the morning here at Fremantle Community Bank Oval. The intent from both sides has been there, Matt. But for East Perth, not a lot of reward on the scoreboard despite getting plenty of ball movement from defence into attack. Claremont, they started to get some good entries, as we could see on these CD Dodd scrap metal recyclers. But that kicking to 2-on-1s, they need to find loose targets inside their forward 50 if they want any chance at goal, because East Perth's defence is proving quite the difference at the moment.
Also, it comes from up the ground as well. East Perth are doing a good job of putting heat, as we have a look at some of these highlights, thanks to CD Dodd scrap metal recyclers. They're putting good heat on the Claremont ball movers and ball winners across the middle of the ground. So that's rushing a lot of kicks. You have a look at their movement from half back. Claremont, they're having to kick off one step, and a lot of plays directed towards the boundary line. I'm not sure if that's part of their game plan, but maybe they're looking to just tie the ball up as much as they can and keep the game close. I think they did not make use of that 2-goal breeze at all to the left of screen, Claremont. Obviously not registering a score, but look, I thought Rowe was almost best on ground for East Perth in that term. Couple of key spoils, his disposal, his decision-making across half-back's been superb.
Including that battle against Thomas Lee early on in the first quarter, where it looked like a certain goal to Thomas Lee, and he had the presence of mind to just punch it towards the goal line and rush it through for a behind. It's his football mindset that is really standing out in defence. You know, he's got a good football mindset. He's always switched on in defence, and when the ball is coming his way, you never know what he's going to do, because he's always going to produce a good result.
Yep. And Majuri's been good too. I thought Paul and Queck as a tall target. We saw he had a set shot. Scary moment for him in the middle of the ground. He went to dive at a player's feet, maybe caught one in up around the head, and was very, very sore coming off the ground. And I think Sparks has been pretty influential as well. I've liked the work of Goddard of Claremont. Has spent a lot of time in the league as well, but he's having to drop back. He's taken a couple of key interceptions. At the moment, Claremont, they're defending well at the moment, because the East Perth scoring shots, they haven't had a lot of easy shots. We know that Queck had a set shot from the outer side of the ground, a flying snap that hit the post that was unlucky, but they're doing a good job of limiting them to low percentage shots. It's just the volume of inside 50 entries at the moment.
And the volume at the same time at Claremont shots hasn't been maximum at all. You know, they haven't had plenty of scoring shots at goal because of their entries inside 50 often being fended off by East Perth defensive markets.
In the mid part of that term, when the game was obviously a lot tighter than what it was, I mean, it's only 9 points at the moment, but they had 3 repeat entries inside 50 that were kicked to a 2-on-1. It wasn't from poor decision making, it was just from the heat on that ball carrier and applying pressure to that kick. And East Perth, as we said, they're one of the tallest lineups in the reserves. They can pick those off all afternoon.
Claremont would need to break that heat by kicking to more loose targets or presenting more numbers inside that forward 50 if they're able to break that heat.
But we've seen their rebound. It's always along the flanks and the wings, whereas East Perth, as soon as they get it from half back, they look straight in the corridor, and they're carefree in biting off that 45-degree kick.
Still plenty of tales to be told in this second quarter in this Reserves Grand Final. Hope you can join us throughout the day here at Fremantle Community Bank Oval. And what has been a surreal 2020 season, with the prospect of not getting football at all to a condensed season. And here we are, Grand Final day on this Sunday morning. The Royals leading it by 9 points as we get the second quarter underway. Amos and Goddard will do battle in the ruck. That first goal will be essential to the momentum of this game. Goddard wins the tap out, but recovered by Amos. Amos flicks it forward out to 2 Tigers. One of them there was Smallwood. And it'll be a ball up alongside the centre circle. No, that was Jamie Paul, I should say. Goddard again taps it forward. But straight away, a lot of heat on East Perth players. And East Perth will win the free kick for Julian Amajuri. He moves it immediately, pumping it long towards the forward 50, playing in front there, and a second grab by Hooper. Was he paid the mark? Yes, he was. Great positioning there by Hooper, able to get himself to the front of the contest and using his height to great advantage, taking a great mark in the pack.
From North Beach. Nice part of the world to play a bit of ammo footy, isn't it?
No doubt about it. Very scenic too. So for the first goal of the second quarter, Thomas Hooper, he's going to kick directly in front from 35 metres out. Against the wind, goes for goal. That never looked like missing. Hooper gets his first, and East Perth, they pull away to a 15-point lead early on in this second quarter on the Grants Car Stereo scoreboard. That's the start that East Perth are after, because they're a good attacking side and they could score some quick goals on the burst.
Well, they win the free kick from a secondary ball up, and that's where they're dominating the contest at the moment, is around stoppages. They're getting clean ball use. They played on immediately. They didn't wait for Claremont to get back. They pumped it straight down the middle, and then that contested mark to Hooper on the second bite. Claremont up to this stage has been pretty effective in dealing with those high balls inside defensive 50, but not on that occasion.
And what you touched on about the risk-taking element of this game, especially in the grand final, East Perth have really gotten the better of Claremont this early on. They've been taking more risks and they've been able to move it very quickly.
So Amos v Goddard, as we await. Congratulations to Curtis Snadden and Jason Gibb, and also Lockie Faye Gilmore, the field umpires today, and they've done an excellent job thus far. A little hand pass out the side from Hart. They again kick it forward, but this time it's along the wing. So tracking back on this football now is Davis. Stands tall, steps around the would-be tackler, and he's got plenty of time and space. Lovely, easy kicking action up towards left half forward, and this is where a lot of their forward 50 entries have been. And bottled up, no prior. So Claremont now, this is where they need to clean up around the ball, these secondary stoppages around the ground. And rather than the immediate snap kick, just try and get something clean inside 50. So Goddard, interesting tap, turns it over. And that is a throw, so it's going the way of East Perth. So they catch another break at right half back.
They would need to move it quickly if they want to keep up their brand of football. They got a couple of targets loose across the ground.
So this is a rare sight as we see East Perth kicking down the line to a contest over the head of the intended target. And running out of tarmac on that outer side is Jonty Turner, and we will have another ball in.
But it's a good result, though, for the Royals. They've been able to gain about 60 metres of territory, and that puts even more pressure on Claremont to put a little bit of heat on the key East Perth ball movers.
So watch closely here. An important boundary throw-in as Goddard just works his way to the front. It's a shallow throw-in. Good smother on the football. We've seen plenty of that from the Royals this afternoon, those 1%ers at the coalface. And we'll have another ball in. The flags rather stiffly flying to the left of your screen, probably a 2 to 3 goal lead.
Bit of feeling in that one. Goddard getting involved there with Allsop.
Well, there's no game next week. Leave it all out in the line, so we've got another ball in. A lot of players around this stoppage. Well done again, Goddard, but he can't find a teammate with that hit out. Starting to win that. Was that without the ball? Not this time, said the umpire. Another ball up. So I think East Perth would be happy with this. 15 points is the game high lead, but just chewing a bit of time in this second term.
And that's putting extra pressure on the Tigers as the ball is thrown up again. Elliott can't take clean possession. Caught in a good tackle by Arbin, close to the boundary line. And somehow East Perth get themselves out of strife. Sparks gives the football to Amajuri, right on the boundary line towards the forward zone. No mark there to Hooper, and now under pressure. Well gathered by Dobson. Dobson shoots towards the corridor of the forward 50. Now gathered there again by Turner. Snaps over the shoulder from 25, and he's kicked it. Turner gets another one. And that again increases the momentum East Perth's way. And they go to a 21-point lead at the 4.5-minute mark of this second term. And Turner was just able to find an opening after gathering the football and snap it immediately. As you can see on the CD Dodd replay, good gather, breaking through the would-be tackler there in Wallace, and had the presence of mind to snap it over the shoulder and score another one.
10th goal for 2020 in the reserves competition. Jonty Turner kicked 2 back in round 5, so he likes playing against the Tigers and makes the most of that opportunity.
And they're already besting their average in points per quarter in the reserves in 2020. They only scored 12 points. And they've already beaten that.
Took them 14 minutes to kick their first of the game, Paul, and they've got 2 of this second term within 5 minutes.
Can Claremont get can Claremont get a steadier? These next 15 minutes will be incredibly vital for the Tigers in the context of this game. Goddard favoured by the bounce, gets the tap out. Elliott. Caught in a good hard tackle there by Amajuri, and we'll have another ball up. It'll be alongside the centre circle. Goddard, big punch away into the path of Hitchcock. Does a bit of volleyball. And East Perth are able to bustle their way out of the pack. King gets caught in a good tackle. Elliott. And it's a free kick paid. No, umpire calls play on. Players converging on the football. And the umpire will say, give it to me. Played about 6 minutes in this second term. In this grand final. East Perth looking to win their first reserves flag since 1983. Claremont looking to erase the heartbreak of last year. And at the moment, it's been all East Perth. They've kicked the first 2 goals in the space of 5 minutes. Hooper and Turner being among those. Goddard, big punch away. McGinnity overruns it. Well played there by Miller. Again, plenty of traffic in that contest. Miller again. Low hand pass. Picked up now by Turner. Turner snaps around the corner. They contest about 50 metres out. Smallwood with the presence of mind. Hand pass comes out to Davis, and he was tripped up. And he's going to get a free kick. Davis inside the defensive 50. He clears immediately. And it's a pretty ordinary kick. Losing his footing there was Reid.
Good
and
recovery.
Gathers brilliantly. Very good recovery from Reid. He goes down the line. And Claremont are away. It's alongside the centre square. And the mark taken there by Matthew Spores. Spores moves it on quickly. Out towards the forward 50. No mark there to Dobson. Umpire calls play on. Eaton lays a good tackle there on Bennett. And the umpire says, I'll have it.
That passage of play, Paul, sums up where Claremont are at this game at the moment. They looked down the line first, wasn't there, then had to kick hurriedly because they'd used their time up to another big contest. So the sweeping hand pass clears defensive 50. Claremont want to get something moving quickly. Hurried kick, and that could be down the ground as a player was dumped after the kick. So ill discipline's going to cost the Tigers. And we're just waiting. They're going to bring it back, in fact, so it must have been just before the kick. So fortunate not to give it away. In fact, now he's going to turn it back over to Claremont. So the umpire did indicate to the right of our screen, needless to say, Claremont. Finally, a mark inside 50, but you look how shallow it is, Paul, and this will be into the breeze, but I suppose Claremont will be looking for every positive at the early stages of this game. So, chance to go back with some real intent and to bite back into this 21-point lead. So he knows he's too far out to score. Lowers the eyes, off hands, off a series of shins. Here's Rowe again. So composed at the back. Interesting hand pass. Asked a lot of the teammate and holding the ball. So here come Claremont.
Malone.
So Malone, as you can see, he's looking for options. So he's just going to load up. He kicks up towards the kickoff line. Big fly. Are there any crummers at home for Claremont? Not in the immediate time as they bottle it into East Perth. There'll be no prior, and a very important stoppage for Claremont. They need to get something out of this forward 50 entry.
I'd have to say, for plays like McGinnity and Elliott, they've got to get to the front of the pack, not to the back, if they want that easy ball.
Amos won it down with the left hand. Little snap out of the pack. Just going to be roved there by East Perth. They kick down the line into a clean pair of hands and they pump it long out towards the outer side. But the intercepting mark again by Claremont. And a chance to reload from the just between the wing and half forward.
Boyatis kicks from about 80 metres out towards a huge pack of players. They need to be at the front. Amajuri was first for it for the Royals. Gets it out there to Arbin, looking for the hand pass. Turned over Elliott. McKenzie over the top. North on his knees with a hand pass. Back to McKenzie on the outer side. And there's a free kick. Yes, there is a free kick being paid by the umpire. And it's going the way of the Tigers. Looked like a throw. And it'll be paid to Anthony Davis.
I think they've responded well. I mean, obviously they haven't hit back on the scoreboard, Claremont, but I think a bit of a wake-up call, back-to-back goals in this second term, and a bit more fire in the belly now.
And Davis is really going to have to do the impossible here. He's going to kick from just on the 50 from the impossible angle.
Especially for a left footer.
Davis gives it everything he's got. Will it clear the line? A huge pack of players contest on the goal line. Dobson couldn't take the mark. The ball's deep in the goal square. And almost dragged in there by Spores, but the umpire says, I'll have it. Again, players needing to be at the front of the pack if they want those opportunities. Amos getting the tap out. Amajuri overruns it. Well done there by Rowe to clear it out. Only momentarily, Davis was caught high and will get the free kick against Queck. And Davis will have a second chance. This time, he's a bit further in front. He's going to move it on right away. Sets it long to the hot spot. Lee out the front of the pack. No mark. Well played there by the Royals in able to spoil. Cooley at ground level. So is Amos. Good team tackling by the Tigers. Watch out because Thomas Lee's around. Amajuri at ground level. Looping hand pass over the top. Arbin, well played by Arbin. And Amajuri goes for a run. One bounce, two bounces, almost caught. Oh, breaks through the tackle brilliantly. Was able to keep his feet this time. The kick towards the forward 50. It's a foot race. Turner was in front. Unfavoured by the bounce. Tigers have the numbers on the outer of the football. Davis, he's caught in a good tackle. He's in a bit of trouble. The umpire says, give it to me.
That was pretty well done there by Davis, and he's had some good moments standing up and half back, and was pretty fortunate to not give away holding the ball, but he really took that tackle, took one for the team.
Tap out by Miller. Out to the outer side. And it looked like there was some holding on. Yes, it was. Free kick will go the way of the Tigers. Curran's way inside the defensive 50.
So he'll have it at left half back. And shapes to go down the line. That's where he goes. 50-metre ball through the hands of the intended target. Linking up well now. Here they come through Cooley. Kicking out towards the outer side now. A little hand pass received. They look to bring it inboard. Good build-up play now. Into the hands of Barton. Barton just kicks hurriedly up towards the contest. Getting in there, trying to lay some assistance is Malone. He's pushed off his kick. Good defending by the Royals. In on the scene there is Young. Good second effort from Young as well. Claremont played taken with a high shot, but they allow play to continue. A kick towards the outer wing. Will it stay in play? It won't. We wait on the umpire. No deliberate, so we've got a ball in. Well done there by Will Young. Managed to be out-bodied and managed to just win back the contest and gain more meterage.
It's been a real wake-up call for Claremont. Even though they haven't impacted the scoreboard at all, they've been able to control the ball in their forward zone without any great reward.
So toss back in. Miller won it down. Claremont can move it forward. Back inside 50 again. There goes Young. Ducked his head. Now, is that going to be prior opportunity? No. So a couple of good passages of play from Will Young from Augusta Margaret River, the Hawks. Ball comes up. Miller out-pointed this time. Taking in a good tackle there was King, but he managed to feed it out the side door. East Perth, they link up. Is that a high shot? Will they pay the advantage? We'll wait. Oh, it was there, but they're going to have to bring it back. Now, I'm not sure why the free kick is going the way of Claremont, Paul.
No, there was some holding on the inner contest.
So Ledger, former St Kilda player, 8 games, spears it in towards the pocket, looking for Tom Curran. He's taking a tackle and
free kick.
Free kick. So slipping high. Now finally some good fortune going the way of the Tigers. Looks as though Thomas Lee might be taking the free kick.
Yes, it does look like Thomas Lee.
Yeah.
He will take the free kick on the left forward pocket, and he'll kick again from the impossible angle. And this will be a vital goal, maybe a team lifter if Thomas Lee can kick this one. He's been minimalised in terms of his scoreboard impact this morning by the East Perth defence, and a goal here would really put Claremont right back in it, because they have really had to have it tough in the first half, and they've had more of the ball inside their forward 50. Lee hasn't had plenty of it because they've been kicking to a 2-on-1, and Lee just needs to get himself a little bit more open space in the forward 50.
Kicking at 75% in the reserves as far as scoring shots. 15-5 moves him to 15-6. Former St Kilda player, and spent time at Adelaide but didn't see any action there, and that was a big let-off for the Royals.
Yeah, they could really let off a bit of steam here. Eaton goes out wide with the short pass, and East Perth will look to build. They let to go inboard once again. That's a big mistake because Smallwood was able to recover there at the top of the goal square. Hand pass out, intercepted by Young. Well played by Gooley, able to find himself some space. That's Cooley. And the kick marked there by Amajuri. That's Christian Amajuri. Goes down the line, and that's an ordinary kick, and that's Davis again.
That's probably the only 2 poor decisions they've made by foot in the game so far, East Perth. So let's see if it's going to cost them.
And that was Ben Rushford there with the good intercept mark, and he'll have another opportunity for a shot at goal from just inside the 50. Bit of a breeze blowing, gives it everything he's got. Will it go over the line? It's touched over the line for a behind. He really gave everything there, did Rushford, but just only didn't make the distance by about a couple of metres.
We'll be used to kicking into strong breeze too, originally from City Beach. West Coast Junior Football Club.
Now East Perth will have another chance to rebuild out a defensive 50. North. Goes across the ground towards the back pocket. Beautiful mark, Miller! Miller elevates and grabs it. Brilliantly done by Miller, and now he's going to set it up for the Tigers in towards their forward line. No mark, brilliantly spoiled there by Sparks. East Perth having the numbers out in defence. Hand pass almost smothered by Lee. Now to Rowe. Dribbles it down the line. And now Hooper. Boots it down the wing. No mark. Umpire calls play on. Kweck was in better position to take it, but was out-battled there by Rushford. Rushford hand pass out to Daisley. Daisley going down the line. It's out of bounds on the full. What about that mark from Miller?
Superb. And I'll tell you what, I bumped into his grandmother in the car park. She didn't pay for my parking, but I told her I'd give her a shout out. So Grandma would have loved that one. That was a great leap from the young man.
Definitely mark of the day. No doubt about that thus far. Short pass out to Sparks. Umpire calls play on. Hand pass out to Cooley. And Cooley goes out wide, finding Amajuri. He's on the edge of the centre circle. They need to get a move on here quickly, East Perth. They have scored 2 goals in this quarter, but they would love a third. Ball goes over the top. Dobson out back, and in his high contact, and there will be a free kick going the way of Harley Sparks. And that's against McGinnity.
This would absolutely break the heart. If they can get a goal here, East Perth, I mean, they've been backs against the wall for the majority of this term, despite kicking those 2 early goals.
Now Sparks. He'll kick from about 70 metres out. Sets it up to the hot spot. Kweck is one of those players flying. He flies. Couldn't take the mark. Davis was the first to it. Beautiful tackling there by East Perth. The tackle there on Wallace. What will the umpire say? He says, give it to me. And a goal here would be huge for East Perth to really increase the tide their way. Davis getting the tap out. Looking to go towards Maguire, but the ball trickles over the line for a behind. The margin now 20 points, 3-6 to 4 behinds. Claremont being held goalless in this first half.
Better work defensively this time. You can see a lot of players getting in over the back in those situations. So Claremont is still in this game. East Perth look to reload. So kicking off a step there was Amajuri. He's getting busy. Moore just ducked his head at the last minute there. Going back with the flight of the ball was Davis. Bit of a nervous moment for him, but it's going to turn out okay. So they've got a true centre-half back.
They have to get Hitchcock playing up forward a little bit as well to add some weapons towards the goals.
Was that interference? It was. So giving away the free kick there was Mitch Dobson. Into the hands now of the Tigers player in Daisley. Now, very rare chance that they bite a kick off into the middle of the ground. Another risky kick gets smothered, so it could be coming back in transition. Just ducking his head there was Amajuri. He's had plenty of the football so far. Footy gets jarred loose. Crummers everywhere now for East Perth. Into the hands of Dobson. Off a step. This could break the heart of the Tigers, but he hooks his kick and into the slipstream. Probably a 2 to 3 goal breeze. Goes through for a minor score. So Claremont still a pulse as we approach half time. Just under 7 minutes remaining, so 25-minute quarters. No time added on. Be easy for you to follow at home. Thanks again to Front Row Screens, wonderful supporters, CD Dodd, Scrap Metal Recyclers, Ross's Discount Home Centre, and also Grant's Car Stereo. Claremont looked to clear their defensive line, so the player ducked into it, so the umpire was aware of that. Important ball to win at the moment. Good, strong defensive work there by Elliott this time. Managed just to jar the footy loose. Allows a teammate to kick down the line.
Good mark.
Great spring. McGinty, Ed McGinty, that was brilliant. Sensational vertical leap. So he goes down the line. 2-on-2 contest through the hands of the big player. There's Rao. That did well. Just lowered the eyes. Spots a teammate. They look to transfer play now through North. North. Kick hung a long time in the air, but they've got numbers on the outer side. This is Young. Young links up over the top. They play the 1-2 through King, and they're out now on the outer side of the ground. And they've got numbers in board. This is Amajuri. Bought his own footy in this second term and just laces out to the leading player. That was probably the passage so far of this reserves grand final, and it ends up with Jonty Turner, who could become our first multiple goal kicker. Kicked 10 goals so far in the season in the reserves. Simply
brilliant ball movement by the Royals. They were able to get the transition going down the line, which is uncharacteristic. They usually like to go direct, but when they went out wide and found plenty of space, they got a great path for Turner to lead to.
So from CBC Amateurs in Freo right to the goal line, and it's off hands through for one behind. They move to 3-8 now. Claremont, we still await their first goal, and we've got just under 5 minutes remaining in their second term.
Now Claremont will bring it back into play. They'll have to move it quickly. They would need a goal on the board if they want to stem the momentum. Lee, good spoil over the top, into the arms of McGinnity. Breaks through, goes back to the corridor. Unable to get clean possession of it was Hitchcock.
Brilliant
Caught in a
tackle.
beautiful tackle, and he's gone, holding the ball. Advantage is paid. Cooley moves it on immediately. The kick back in towards the corridor, and a lovely mark taken there for the Royals by Alsop. And he'll have a shot to increase the lead for the Royals, and he'll have a shot from about 30 metres out from goal.
We don't want to rag or put down players, but that was an interesting decision to come in. Probably the right decision to make, but that kick falling short put their teammate under a lot of pressure. Good tackling again from East Perth. They moved the ball immediately, as we see on the CD dot scrap metal recyclers replay, and a very gettable goal for Alsop.
This to make it 4 goals for the Royals. From 30 metres out with the left foot, starts left, straightens, thank you mother for the Rabbits. Alsop gets the goal. And that's number 3 for the Royals in this quarter. They are on fire. And they go to 4-8 to 4 behinds. 31 playing 4 on the Grants Car Stereo scoreboard. East Perth, the quarter's gone all their way.
8 goals now. And from Coolbinya Junior Footy Club. Just down the road from Old High School, Paul. And that was a very good finish. It just straightened nicely, didn't it, off the left boot?
Certainly did. Never looked like missing when the ball left the boot. From left to right a little bit. But the breeze, not a big factor when you're kicking towards the western end of the ground.
2.5 minutes. Claremont, this might be Captain Cliche talking, or Captain Obvious, they need a goal.
They do need a goal.
They need some momentum heading into the second
They
half.
have to get a steadier in order to, deflate the pressure, because they're already under enough pressure as it is. They haven't got a lot of influx of league players, that are playing in this reserves grand final. East Perth do, so experience is going to be the key here in this second half. But in the meantime, under 2 minutes remaining. Goddard tapping that out wide. Hitchcock breaks through alongside the centre circle. He kicks towards half forward. McGinnity with the leap, couldn't take the mark. Beautifully played there by Bennett. Good carry. He kicks towards the lead of Miller. Curran providing some backup. Good communication. Miller goes at ground level. Cleverly tapped forward. Looking for Bennett. Rowe again. He's been the key. So is that man North. Goes back to Amajuri from centre half back. East Perth able to recover only momentarily. North almost caught in the tackle. Hitchcock well stood up in the tackle, getting the hand pass out, but East Perth just having greater numbers at the back of the ball, really making the difference in defence. Rowe. Kick towards Kuek. Great lead by Kuek. Coming back after that heavy knock in the first term. Breaks through one tackle. Goes for a bounce. Come on, Kuek. Kick the goal, son. Kuek bounces his way through from 40 metres out. Goes for goal. Bounces through. What a great goal. Seven Kuek. Able to break through the tackle and run towards the goals uncontested. That is the goal of the day in this grand final.
One of the goals of the season, Paul. Have a look at this. CD Dodd Scrap Metal Recyclers said what an athlete he was, backed himself, and that's not easy. Would have been aided by that breeze just sucking the ball into the goal mouth, but that was a polished finish.
And a courageous comeback from Kuwait, to come back after that heavy knock early on, come back and say, I want to make a difference to this side. He certainly has done. 4 goals in the quarter to nothing. East Perth, the momentum is with them at the moment, unquestionably. The margin, 33 points.
Rightfully getting a breather too on his haunches in the goal square.
Well, but he's quick on his feet. There's no doubt about that, Kuek. For a tall, lean player, Sebek Kuek at about 193 centimetres and below 70 kilos. He is quick. But we're inside the last 40 seconds of this first half of this reserves grand final. Amos and Goddard. Goddard favoured by the bounce. Wins the tap out to Curran. Curran laid in a beautiful tackle. And the umpire says, give it to me. Aaron Ballantyne, the coach of East Perth, his first year as East Perth reserves coach, will be very happy with his side's intent. Meanwhile, Ryan McKenzie, I reckon, will really have to get right into his players and saying, we need this grand final. We need to win this. And they'll have to show a little bit more intent than what they have, because they conceded in a couple of bursts, 2 goals in 5 minutes and 2 goals in 5 minutes. Goddard gets the tap out towards Turner, breaks his way through 2 tackles. They'll be out of time to get another chance as the siren's just about due to go. A great second quarter by the Royals sees them scoring 4 goals in the second quarter and holding Claremont goalless again. And they have a lead of 33 points. 5'8", 38, 34 points, I should say. 5'8", 38, playing 4 behinds. Match entrance, again, it was all down to the heat that East Perth were able to put on their Claremont ball magnets to kick to those 2-on-1s when they had a target inside their forward 50. But the intent of the Royals isn't dying down at the moment.
And look, Claremont, unfortunately, have no answer for Christian Ambajuri at the moment. He probably had about 8, maybe 9, 10 disposals in that second term, propelling them forward. Repeat forward 50 entries. They're showing the Tigers up in that aspect of the game. They're more polished. You saw the composure of a young player in Queck, who, as we said, he's just on screen there, and copped a heavy knock but managed to just compose himself. I love the way the Royals take the ball. They look to play on. They're playing possession game, but in a quick way, if that makes sense. The kick mark game, and Claremont, I think, a bit handball happy at the moment. And when they kick long, as you said, Paul, they're kicking to contest. Better signs for them. The silver lining in that cloud is that they probably broke even with the forward inside 50 entries in that term, Claremont, but just couldn't hit the scoreboard.
But also, we mentioned East Perth's entries towards their forward 50. They didn't go to the corridor all the time. They were able to get some space across the ground, and East Perth were able to, put Claremont off their natural game when they're defending when the ball's moving towards the corridor. So East Perth, as you can see there, going back into the change rooms, they should be very happy with themselves. The experience not only showing, but also their composure when they've got the football in their hand.
But you have a look at the live wire and Ed McGinty, a tremendous speed, good user of the football, great spring, and he's kicked 6 goals this year, but we haven't seen him across half forward. He's having to come up around the broadcast wing to get his touches. We saw a tremendous contested mark from him. There are a few positives that Claremont can go into for Ryan McKenzie leading to the second half, but they need to get things moving quickly. They'll have the aid of a 2 to 3 goal breeze to the left of screen. They need to make use of that and be within touching distance. Otherwise, East Perth are going to break a 37 year drought.
Well, the first 2 goals will be essential for Claremont in that second half, and we'll discuss more on the first half action when we come back to Fremantle Community Bank Oval, where it is a 34-point lead, 5-8 East Perth, playing Claremont 4 behinds. We'll come back with a half-time discussion after this.
Grant's Car Stereo Morley, proudly supplying and fitting quality car stereos for over 15 years. Selling top-name brands like Alpine, Focal, Rockford Fosgate. From a simple upgrade to complete custom systems. Stop in and see Grant and the boys at 61 Russell Street, Morley, or visit us online at carstereo.com.au. If you need it live streamed, you need Front Row Screens. Visit frontrowscreens.com.au.
Welcome back to Fremantle Community Bank Oval. It's half-time in the Reserves Grand Final for 2020, and it is the Royals dominating in that second quarter, guiding themselves to a 34-point buffer over the Tigers. 5 goals, 8-38, playing just 4 behinds. That first half, East Perth showed a lot more intent early on. They kicked 2 goals in the space of 4 minutes, and then they had another burst from the 20-minute mark with Allsop and Sebit Kouek kicking some very vital goals to help East Perth gather a big momentum swing late in that second quarter.
What I like about the structure of East Perth going forward is that their ball use from the middle of the ground. Majuri, Christian that is, sung his praises earlier for his delivery inside forward 50, but the fact they've got 5 individual goal kickers at the moment, so they're not just relying on one avenue to goal. They're spreading it around. Kouek, that was one of the best goals that you'll see in a grand final. That was superb. Allsop's providing a good target. and they've just got those ball winners around. They seem to be composed across half back, and that confidence. I just love the way they bite off 45-degree kicks into the middle of the ground. They want to take the game on. You look at Amajiri throwing out stiff arms. They might give away the odd holding the ball, but you just see they've got more run across the ground, and obviously a week's rest as well. So their run's only going to get better throughout this game.
As you see there, the Premiership Cup, East Perth have got one hand on it. Claremont, well, they'll need to grab hold of it with two hands in the second half. And East Perth, well, it's going their way at the moment, the Reserves Premiership Cup. You touched on playing with confidence. East Perth, despite the week's rest, they've appeared much more fresher, and they're playing with a lot more confidence from defence into attack. They've been willing to take risks. You've got Daniel Rowe in defence, who's showing plenty of intent. He's been the key intercept marker, but also has been able to keep his feet when the ball's in their defensive zone, and they're needing someone to guide East Perth in recovery, and Daniel Rowe has been the absolute key.
Yeah, he has, and you're looking at that week off for East Perth as well is going to be telling, but you also look at Claremont, and again, we'll congratulate them. Another Rodriguez Shield, 17th for the club, and it just goes to show you, and they're obviously still producing players. They're 6th all-time for feeder clubs in the AFL. I think you've got Geelong sitting at the top of the tree, the Football Factory, Murray Bushrangers, Sandringham, Dandenong, Oakley, and then it's Claremont. So they produced 138 players, 15 of those AFL Premiership players, but you have a look, their Colts are going to be playing next, obviously the league, so there's going to be a lot of sore bodies. It's been a long season for all three of their teams. Good from a club standpoint, but then you look at the reserves, who's going to be in and out. I suggest their team wouldn't have been settled throughout the week not knowing who's going to be playing.
Here's the CD Dodd Scrap Metal Recyclers highlights of that first half, which was dominated by the Royals. Even though they only were held to just one goal in the opening term, East Perth were able to hit their straps and kick 4 unanswered goals in the second term when Claremont started to get control for the first 5 minutes of the first half, but give away a few odd free kicks which allowed easy opportunities
They've just
at goal.
got so much height in the forward line. You see by these highlights now, and they know that when that ball's in the air that they're probably a 60-40 chance of bringing it down.
Kuek, Hooper and Anderson, and even Ben Maguire.
I mean, have a look at that leap.
Yeah, absolutely. He's got a deadly leap, Sebek Kuek. You know, he's definitely one of those unsung heroes that could really do so much exciting stuff with the ball when you least expect it.
I like the work of Amos on the ball. Not easy coming up against. There's a young kid, obviously, Miller. We saw what a tremendous mark he took. A tall youngster with a big spring, but then also going up against Goddard, who's an experienced campaigner. He's shown good glimpses as well, but I think Amos is winning that contest at the moment, and the taps that Goddard's winning, or Miller's winning, is going straight to an East Perth Royal hand. So all good signs at the moment for the team in black and blue.
But you mentioned that forward line having plenty of height. I think that's something that Claremont is lacking in that necessary department.
Yep.
They need someone tall, but also very nimble to try and get those opportunities at goals, because there isn't any tall prime targets over there at Claremont at the moment. You've got Curran, Minia and Spores, but they're not tall forwards. They're playing with a small forward lineup. Yep. It's always very risky when you're going up against a tall defence and tall forward lineup in the East Perth side, and they're having to learn that the hard way. And I don't think they're not playing with as much intent when getting the football at ground level.
Yep. But I loved how East Perth mixed up their game plan. They were going through the corridor first term, and then second term they thought they took a bit of the air out of the ball. Claremont, after the first 2 goals were kicked in that turn, Paul, they had a lot of forward possession forward of the bullseyes to the right of screen. Obviously kicking into that strong breeze is always going to be tough for them, but East Perth showed what a champion team do. They stood up to that pressure, absorbed it, only gave away 2 behinds, not giving them easy set shots at goal, and I've liked their discipline. Not too many free kicks, whereas Claremont are winning a lot of high tackles, holding the ball. That 1%ers around the ground is starting to go the way of the Royals.
And Claremont and East Perth have known to mix it up, when it comes to moving the ball. They've played down the line and they've played, obviously direct back towards the corridor, and it's been working for them, hence why they're undefeated. They've got that midfield presence to really switch it round more often than not.
A lot of talk, obviously, with not having access to AFL players and East Perth with the alignment and whatnot, but I think they've got a bright future, because you look at their reserves, unbeaten currently. Their league team almost sprung a surprise, Paul. I mean, they were briefly in the top 4.
Yeah.
If you have a look at that in that game that we called the South Fremantle and Perth game, they actually ousted Subiaco, but then that surprise win to Perth. So I think there's a lot of upside for East Perth at the moment.
Yeah, they've got a couple of good league players, coming up through the ranks come 2021. Now, let's get to our special halftime package, ladies and gentlemen. Kia has been a big supporter of WA football this year, and during the halftime break of the League Grand Final, the Kia Stinger of the Year will be announced, and in just a few moments, let's take a look at those finalists right now. Yeah, it's the Kia Stingers of the Year. Of course, combined Mark of the Year and Goal of the Year no longer given individually in season 2020, and that'll be during the halftime break of the League Grand Final. And what a day of football we have got in store for you here at Fremantle Community Bank Oval on 2020 WAFL Grand Final Day. First off, of course, the second half of the reserves. And then on Channel 7 at about midday, we've got the Colts Subiaco in Claremont. And then 3 o'clock, the main event, Subiaco doing, South Fremantle, I should say, doing battle with Claremont. But there is the Reserves Premiership Cup. That will be decided first up. We're going to take a break, but when we do come back, all the second half action where it's East Perth leading Claremont by 34 points.
If you need it live streamed, you need Front Row Screens. Visit frontrowscreens.com.au. Grant's Car Stereo Morley. Proudly supplying and fitting quality car stereos for over 15 years. Selling top name brands like Alpine, Focal, Rockford Fosgate. From a simple upgrade to complete custom systems. Stop in and see Grant and the boys at 61 Russell Street, Morley. Or visit us online at carstereo.com.au.
Teams running out onto the ground for the start of the second half of the 2020 WAFL Reserves Grand Final from Fremantle Community Bank Oval, where it's East Perth leading by 34 points over Claremont, 5-8 playing 4 behinds. Paul Persick and Matt Chechen's with you. As always, it's a great pleasure to have your company. And if you've just joined us, the goal scorers have been all East Perth. Cooley in the first quarter, then it was Hooper, Turner, Allsop and Kuek individually in the second quarter. Matt, big second half for Claremont coming up, as you can see here on the screen. What must they do to rescind the momentum that has been established by East Perth, who have been better in disposal and more numbers in traffic?
I think it starts with centre clearances, Paul. It's something that East Perth have dominated. In fact, all clearances around the ground. You look at boundary throw-ins. They've managed, they look more dangerous, particularly moving forward. So it needs to happen at the coalface. I think their tackling pressure's been pretty good today. You haven't seen many broken tackles that the Royals have managed to push through, but it's just more getting first use of the football.
But also, at the same time, you've also got to look at, the heat that they've got to put on their ball magnets. We touched on this a lot during the first half, is that East Perth, they've been able to put so much heat on the Claremont ball magnets in kicking to those 2-on-1 contests, and since they've been able to get those easy spalls and recover quickly out of defence, it's going to be all about how Claremont can negate that heat with some good possession and maybe just open up a bit of space from defence into attack, because they've been playing a little too direct for their liking.
What I've enjoyed watching with East Perth, they had 2 scary moments. They made 2 poor choices in that second term, moving the ball outside of forward 50, but they've been so good, so effective in doing that. But I love the way that their backs back themselves in taking marks and not spoiling the football.
That's something I've been very impressed with this East Perth side. They've got the best defence in the reserves competition, and for reason, of course. Daniel Rao, not just at ground level, but also in the air as well. He's been able to get those key possessions wherever East Perth have been able to get the ball out of defence.
He's not the tallest back.
No.
But the way he reads the play, he knows how to use his body. He's barrel-chested, he uses his strength well, and he's got a good little turn of foot as well. And just his nous and his decision-making has really stood out this afternoon.
And decision-making is the key. The decision-making has been the key in this grand final, because whenever East Perth are starting to get clear and get entries inside their 50, they've been able to lower the eyes and get good vision. I mean, hence the kick in one of the goals out towards Allsop when number 43, Cooley, was able to take the free kick off a high tacker. He was able to have enough capacity to lower his eyes and get the pass out to Allsop, who took a good mark running back with the flight of the ball and resulted in their third goal for the quarter.
You look at the pace in which East Perth play. If they take an intercepting mark across half-back, they take the air out of the ball.
That's right.
They hit targets, and it's generally back in towards the corridor. But if they get a mark anywhere forward of the bullseyes, across half forward, they turn and go. And that's the opposite for Claremont. They're taking good contested marks. They're starting to win the ball. They have to kick off a step a lot of times, particularly at stoppages, but it allows the East Perth defenders to get back to take those intercepting marks.
It's that tempo game.
Yeah, it is. And they know when to slow the game down. They know when to quicken it up. They know when to come in the middle of the ground. And they know that when they're under the heat, they kept the ball on that outer side just under the scoreboard for a lot of that second term while they weathered those forward 50 entries for Claremont. I think the positive for them, Claremont, is the fact that they were getting those forward 50 entries in that second term. They didn't really look like it in the first term despite having that breeze. They'll need to hit the scoreboard early. And I'm sure they've got the talent, the ability. You have a look at, Tom Lee and Curran and those likes. If they get any clean sort of territory, they're going to have an impact on this game. And I'm sure that their experienced heads will be talking to some of the younger players. And by no means am I writing off Claremont at the moment, but I just think they need to mix something up. They need to sort of start wrestling the tempo of the game back in their favour.
It's going to be tough for them, even with the still 50 minutes of football still left in this game. Because Claremont, yes, they've got the good talent, they've got the depth and capacity, but it's just that intent that hasn't been working for them. And I think Ryan McKenzie would have addressed that at the halftime break. Say, play with better intent, improve your decision-making and your disposal, and you'll get back into this game. So goalless in the opening half is not going to do it justice. They'll need a couple of quick goals in the second half in order to get the momentum back.
And remember, back in round 5, I know it's such a long time, and obviously it's been wonderful to have football in albeit a condensed form, but they only went down by 4 points in that round 5 game.
And they had to come back twice.
And in saying that, had more scoring shots as well. So I think they've got the talent around the ground. It's just a matter of, can they gel? I was so impressed with both teams in that first term. We hardly saw a fumble, which is so rare
standard
in a grand final when the adrenaline's pumping and the nerves are there. But I think both teams have settled in. I think the disposal efficiency has been a feature of the game. It's just the fact that East Perth is so good across half-back.
I wholeheartedly agree. The standard and the disposal efficiency has been so good in this game from both sides, even though there have been a few critical moments where the decision-making hasn't been there. The disposal and the moving of the football has been very good from both sides, and it's a credit to both teams for producing something good.
Here's a question for you. Who's your BOG at the halfway point of this game?
At the moment, it's Daniel Rowe.
Yeah.
I've got to give it to him. Not a lot of defenders get a lot of credit, but Daniel Rowe, he's produced such good football in that first half and has limited Claremont's scoreboard pressure so much. You've got to put him at number 1 or at least the top 3.
Yeah, see, I've got Christian Amaduri, but only just. So the Premiership quarter, as it's known, Paul.
Absolutely.
We're about to witness it as the players start to move back into their positions. Thanks again to Front Row Screens. How good have they been throughout this season?
To say good is an understatement.
Yeah.
They produce such excellent coverage across the season since the start of the condensed season, and we look forward to more sport being broadcast on Front Row Screens in the future. But of course, with the WAFL and the support of the fans as well, it has been nothing short of excellent, and the support of the public in WA wanting to see football again. It's simply amazing. The best state in the country. As we're about to get the second half underway, this will be critical for the Tigers if they want to get back into this game. They've been held goalless throughout the first half, only 4 behinds, while East Perth, they scored 5 goals, 8. Second half underway. They call it the Premiership quarter, the third. Who's going to want it more? It's going to be Amos and Miller. That'll do battle at the first centre bounce. One down by Amos. Ball's cleared. Almost picked up there by Elliott. Elliott burrows it out. East Perth have the numbers within the football. Was that holding the ball? Umpire says play on. Looping hand pass over the top. And now Mazzando with the left foot towards the forward 50. And Claremont with better numbers. Ledger out the back taking the mark. The kick was an ordinary one and turned over quickly by Amos.
And down the throat of the tallest man on the ground.
Amos is going to go across the ground towards Gorta. Gorta on right centre wing. And usually they're going to move it very quickly, and that's what they're going to do. They're going to go back towards the corridor. He was opting for Mazzano, but it was a good mark there by Arbin, a secondary target in the corridor. Arbin looking for some options. They're eager to move it quickly. That's what they like to do.
We've got Rowe here at right half back. Surely the kick needs to go there.
Well, he'd be under pressure from McGinnity because he was reeling to try and make the spoil if he had kicked there north. Oh no, that's Edwards, I should say. Edwards towards right half forward, and a good mark there taken by Dobson. Targets pushing towards the forward line. Amos was one of them. Long kick. They'll contest about 35 metres out. Queck over the top. Queck almost the mark. Umpire calls play on. Turner. Picked up by Arbin. Arbin with a quick kick off a step. At the back of the football. Queck couldn't take the mark. Edwards a good hand pass. And Hitchcock will recover for the Tigers. That kick coming from Wallace. Hitchcock from the back pocket out towards half-back. Dobson gets a fist on it, knocking it back East Perth's way, but it goes over the line for a boundary throw-in.
Could have almost taken the mark there, but obviously easy to say from the luxury of the commentary box.
But what a good leap from Sebit Queck as well in that forward 50. He's tall and lean, but he's got a deadly leap as the ball is going to be thrown back in. Amos and Miller. Miller wins front position, snatches it out, gets the hand pass out to Curran. His kick partially smothered there by Amajuri. Julian Amajuri under immediate pressure there from the Claremont side, and we'll have a repeat in proceedings. 38 plays 4 on the Ross's Discount Home Centre scoreboard. East Perth leading by 34.
Umpire clears the carnage. Miller goes up, couldn't take the mark. Copped a heavy bump as well. Amos loved his work this afternoon. Gains another 15 metres around the corner. Claremont walking the tightrope. Back into the hands of the big ruckman in Amos. Pumps them forward. Awkward bouncing ball. How will Claremont deal with this? That was a high tackle, surely. The umpire says play on. They're still allowing it to go on. Great tackle.
He's gone.
Has to be holding the ball on Ledger. Thought he had more time, but he didn't. And that has been a highlight of their game throughout the afternoon, is nailing the slower ball carriers.
And that's brilliant forward pressure again by East Perth, getting more numbers in traffic inside the forward 50 and restricting Claremont's ball movement out of defence. That was brilliant, and a good tackle to boot too from Turner. And he'll be looking for number 2.
So from CBC, Fremantle, very strong amateur presence. He's kicked 1 at the 4-minute mark of the second turn. This would start to knock in a couple more nails into the coffin of the Tigers, but he misses near side. So we still await the first major for the Tigers. They've got a stiff breeze, maybe 2.5 goal breeze to the left of your screen.
Blowing across the ground, of course, so they'll have to hook it from left to right.
So that ball's put up into the slipstream. Amos flies high, couldn't take a clean mark this time. Tigers with numbers out the back of the pack. Chiseling kick up towards Rowe, and as he's done throughout the afternoon, right in front of the interchange gates, and his teammates getting around him, fists the ball out of play.
If he's not in the top 3 and the best on ground, then it's beyond me.
So ball in, right at the interchange gates. Ground bathed in sunshine. Couldn't pick a better day. Amos, he's really starting to dominate the clearance work now. Hand pass out the side, looking for Curran. Stiff arms his opponent. Has to kick around, wheels onto that right boot. Rowe this time goes up with the one hand. Good spoil on the footy by McGinty. Oh, that's a high shot, surely.
Good Lord.
And a free kick. Taking exception to that was Clark, and with probably good reason. So I don't want to give away a 50. We've seen pretty good discipline from both teams at the moment. And he rightfully earns the free kick, does Jai Clark. Looks to move it quickly into the forward line. Better movement this time by the Tigers. And finally, Jack Buller with a mark, and should want to maybe start this ball just outside, or inside rather, the left-hand upright, and let the breeze blow it across the face of goal.
Where has that movement been all game? This is the first time we've really seen Claremont get the quick ball movement in, and very effective as well towards their forward 50, and kicking to spare targets inside that 50.
So Jack Buller, a chance to breathe a little life into the Tigers. He's kicked 1 straight. From Cottesloe Junior Football Club, you want to start this left-hand post, does so, and it just swings back perfectly. Finally, the Tigers. It's taken them 5 minutes into the third term, but they've got one through Buller. Welcome relief for the Tigers. And they'll look to try and now kick back-to-back goals, obviously, for the first time.
Tigers coming to the goal-scoring party with Buller, scoring a great first goal for the Tigers after 2 dull quarters. And again, it was all down to that quick ball movement and going down the line. That's what they need to do, and mix up their movement. And finally, they were able to get a chance in through that free kick and find the loose target inside the forward 50 in Buller. Smart play from Claremont. It's the first time we've seen that all morning. Maybe a glimmer of hope for the Tigers. It's now 29 points.
He's 19, 20 years old, 196 centimetres, 92 kilos. So he's very, very good size and well read. Just led out to a nice vacant space, and then a polished finish from the tight angle. Umpire
set to restart it back in the centre. It's going to be Goddard and Edwards. Goddard gets the first tap out, but again going to a Royal. That Royal there being in Cooley. Ball's in dispute on the centre circle. Cooley gets it back from Amajuri. Cooley kicks long towards the forward 50. Kuek in front, couldn't take the mark. Good recovery. Breaks through one tackle. Looking to get the hand pass out back. He elects to centre the ball towards the forward zone. Davis with a big punch away. It's back towards the edge of the offensive 50. Kuek at ground level. Out hustled there by Edwards, but there's a free kick for a push in the back, and it's going to go the way of the Tigers. And it'll be Matthew Spores. No, it's Minia that will take the free kick. Minia goes down the line. And Claremont again on the move here. Rushforth breaks through one tackle and puts boot to ball towards the forward 50. Lee couldn't take the mark. Good gather. Goes across his body. Up and under kick. Clever kick towards McGinnity.
How good.
And McGinnity on the back of the ball takes the mark, and he'll have a shot from about 40 out.
Where's this been all morning, Paul? That was superb build-up play. And just that little peeling, little chiselling kick over the shoulder. That was superb.
And McGinnity, they would love back-to-back goals, and so will this guy. McGinnity is a tough little nugget bloke who is really crafty at ground level and in the air. McGinnity from a tight angle from 40. That's not going to make the distance. No mark taken. East Perth back under pressure. They're able to get it out momentarily. Amajuri from the back line. Unfavoured by the bounce is Curley.
Tackle.
It's Turner, I should say. Turner is able to recover with a good tackle there on Barton, and it'll be a ball up. Are able to regain 40 metres of territory. Back out in the forward line. Edwards gets the tap out. Amajuri, was he held without it high? No, umpire says play on. Turner gets the hand pass back. Looking for Cooley. Cooley's taken over the line there by Jamie Paul. And we'll have a boundary throw in. About 48 metres out from the Tigers' goal. They'd love back-to-back goals here to really offer themselves a glimmer of hope here after what has been an all-Royals first half. 45 metres out from their goal. Lee from behind loses out to Edwards. Gets caught as soon as he hand passed it. Ledger, with little time to move, he gets caught in a good tackle, and again we'll have another stoppage. Proving a bit tough for the Tigers, looking for back-to-back goals. They don't want these back-to-back stoppages. They want to move the ball quickly. Edwards roves it after missing the tap, and it's not going anywhere further. It'll be a ball up on the edge of the 50. Margin now 29 points in favour of the Royals. Edwards trying to work it to the front. Good tap out to the advantage of Clark. Clark hoists it long towards the forward line, and it's nothing but nothing. Out of bounds on the full. Free kick will go the way of the Royals, and it's going to be taken there by Taylor North in the left back pocket.
So this is a key moment of the game for the Tigers. They need to lock this ball in now, not allow an easy exit as the player just runs around the player on the mark. So probably not what they asked for. Gets a nice clean kick up towards Queck. Another high fly from him. Couldn't bring down the Burley with him this time. Another stoppage. East Perth will be happy with that as they chew up valuable seconds in this premiership quarter. 29 points the margin. It was a big lead at half-time. Goddard back onto the ball. Only as far as the East Perth player. And comes the Royals player. That was pretty good by McKenzie, but they turn it over. So they kick up towards a 2-on-2. McGinty at the back of this pack. And they just ran out of room there as the ball beats all and goes out of play for a boundary throw-in.
I like how a couple of the Tigers on the edge of the 50 there, Clark and Goddard, are staying back in order to hope for the defensive turnover, because if East Perth were able to hack it long off a step, they'll be only able to find two Claremont players.
And that's something that they did, that they allowed too much of in that first half. They allowed those little easy kicks coming out of their back line. So again, the players just running out of room. They bottle it up. Oh, there'll be a boundary throw-in or a ball up. So a lot of players around this 50 for Claremont as it's balled up and slapped back over the line. They'll reset again. In fact, the furthest players up the ground for East Perth are level with the defensive edge of that centre square. So, is there a free kick's been spotted? The umpire.
Yes, it is. Free kick.
Yeah, it has. So that bit of ill discipline. So into the hands of Ben Elliott. He's kicked 2-2.
Well, it's not definite. The umpire's just deliberating as a throw-in.
Yep.
There was a bit of confusion there. That's the second time that's happened.
But you like to see the umpires actually communicating, and I think they've done a fantastic job.
Absolutely.
This afternoon, rather this morning.
Wholeheartedly agree. They've done a really good job.
It has been an early start, hasn't it? I keep calling it the afternoon.
Yeah.
So the ball comes in, working his way to the front of the pack. There was Buller. Won it down. Little hand pass out the side. Flying snapshot for goal. It's going to blow across the face. Curran goes up, couldn't take the mark, through for a minor score. So better signs, you would definitely say, from the Tigers. They're not letting East Perth just roll away with this reserves premiership.
But they need a major. They need a major, and they need it now. And they may get it. Elliott
kick.
almost with the mark. That's going to allow McGinnity to make the intercept. Goes from 15 and kicks it. A vital turnover there for the Tigers. Reading the kick in brilliantly there was Elliott, making the leap at the back of the ball. And McGinnity with the crumb, scoring an easy goal from 15, and that puts the Tigers back in the contest.
7th goal from Halls Creek. CD Dodd, scrap metal recyclers. You knew as soon as that ball fell to the front, but you saw a lot in that second term. McGinnity had to come up towards the broadcast wing to get a lot of his possessions. They've thrown him forward and he's had an impact.
That's where I'd like to see him, playing in that forward zone. He adds a lot of speed in that forward half of Claremont. So if they could get him and Lee on that same line, you've got yourself a really good forward structure, but they need to be viable and consistent in this third quarter, because those 2 goals have brought a little bit of hope for the Claremont side.
We said they needed to kick the first 2 and they've done so. So if they can manage 3 on the trot, this is going to be the start of something special for the Tigers.
Edwards getting the first tap out, Curran overrunning it. Ball's lodged inside that centre circle, and it's going to be a ball up. Again, they'd love another one to get themselves entrenched in the contest before the final term. East Perth, they would need a steadier against this run. Edwards gets the tap out towards Curran. No free kick, umpire calls play on. Elliott gets caught in a beautiful tackle there by, it looks like, McKenzie. And we'll have a repeat in proceedings this time. Ball's on the forward half for the Royals. They'd love a goal. They've gained about 20 metres off each stoppage. Edwards taps it only as far as Curran. Curran goes with the left foot towards right centre wing. Unfavoured there by the bounce was Eaton. But again, well played there by the Royals. Hayden, he's been awfully quiet today. And Cooley takes it over the line for a throw-in, nearly hitting the stretcher in the process. But it'll be a ball up on our broadcast wing. Boundary throw-in. The margin 22 points in favour of East Perth. 13 and a half minutes gone on the Ross's Discount Home Centre scoreboard.
Umpire tosses it back in. 1 down by Goddard to his own feet. Only as far as the Royals player. Good tackle, pinning the arm of the ball carrier. Chance for another reset for both teams. That was Cooley that was dumped in that tackle. Goddard won it down left hand off a shin, out of play.
Claremont are slowly gaining some territory here. They want another stoppage here, and they've also got a +1 there in Elliott, or Rushforth, I should say, who they're eager to get the ball to and create some movement from the centre square.
Fans starting to trickle into the ground. It is a superb day for football. 11,000 expected here this afternoon. Was that in danger? No, said the umpire. Quick. Great skills at ground level, but he was dumped in the tackle. Now East Perth have a 2-on-1 moving forward. Good work off the ball. Taking a little bit of time over that one. Taking in the strong tackle was Anthony Davis. Not the one in purple and gold for the LA Lakers, but more the blue and gold of the Claremont Tigers. So another stoppage. We haven't seen East Perth this far forward throughout this term. Another boundary throw in. Still a 22-point margin, but credit to the Tigers for not rolling. And Goddard moved back onto the ball for the Tigers. Structurally, they look to have made a few adjustments as the ball comes back in. Goddard uses his strength, just plucks it out of the ruck onto his right boot. Awkward spinning ball. That was gathered beautifully by the Royals player in North. Kicks them further forward, up towards centre half forward. Sliding in on hands and knees. The Tigers ball carrier. East Perth one holding the ball. Not going to be coming.
They were looking for it quite hard there, but to no avail. That would have been a big chance for East Perth to set themselves up in their attacking 50. So it'll be a ball up. It'll be right on the 50. Amos loses out to Goddard. Gorda goes at ground level. Now recovered by Davis. Beautiful smother there by Gorda. And now Cooley. Cooley snapping around the corner. Kuek leaping over the top. No mark. Turner out wide to Amajuri. Dribbles it over the shoulder towards the goals. Yes, he threads it through. Amajuri gets, Allsop that is against the run of play, is able to reel it in, and he gets his second goal. He's the first multiple goal scorer of the afternoon, of the morning. And East Perth, they get one back against the run.
Thanks to CD Dodd, scrap metal recyclers. We see so many of that at elite level, those little dribbling kicks. Working out his geometry and his angles perfectly. And runs that one through. Allsop, an opportunistic goal and a little deflating for Tigers fans, and also the 22 bodies out on the ground.
Yeah, considering the Tigers have done so much work in locking the ball inside that forward half, it was that passage of stoppages for East Perth and the ruck work of Jed Edwards that has been able to be a key difference in that passage when East Perth were looking to get that steadier, and it was Allsop that was able to provide a steadier in the face of goal.
And their first goal since the 23-minute mark for that goal of the day by Queck. So East Perth finally breaking that little goal glut.
Amos and Goddard doing battle. Goddard gets the tap out. It's in the path of Curran. Gorder was first to it. Hand pass out. Curran intercepts. He kicks towards the path of McGinnity. McGinnity and Rowe. Well played by McGinnity, recovering that one on the second try, but he gets caught in a great tackle by Rowe. And we'll have another ball up. It's inside the East Perth forward 50.
That's what I like to see from Rowe as well. Springs to his feet, gives Miller a bit of a shove. He's up for the fight.
It was a good second effort there from Rowe in that back line. Miller gets the tap out. McGinnity, hand pass out to Bennett. Was he caught high? Umpire says no. They're going to get on with it. Amajuri, hand pass intercepted by Lee and Curran. Gorder. East Perth now back under pressure. Gorder hacks it forward towards empty space, but it's covered brilliantly there by Daisley. Daisley's going to move it very quickly. He's going to kick in the direction of Lee. No mark taken. Recovers brilliantly. Tight angle from 35. He kicks across his body. Up and under kick towards the top of the goal square. No mark. Umpire calls play on. Ball locked in the top of the goal square. Umpire says he'll have it. No, it's in dispute momentarily from McGinnity. And it's going to mean a ball up.
Tom Lee took a heavy knock in that first term. He was a little quiet up till half time, but he's come to play in this third term, Paul.
He certainly has. Although he has been held goalless, he's really thrown his body around the contest. Really good second effort a little bit early on in that passage when Lee was unable to take the mark, was able to keep his feet and not stop running. He got a bit of a slight delay, and it looked like the blood rule on Lewis Daisley there. A good atmosphere over here at Fremantle Community Bank Oval. A horde of Royals. Tap out there to Davis. McGinnity overruns it. Rowe. Did he drag it in? Claremont wanting holding the ball. And the umpire says, give it to me. 18.5 minutes gone. East Perth leading 45, playing 17 against Claremont in this WAFL Reserves Grand Final.
Ball comes up. One down by Amos. They've got numbers at the back of the pack. Clearing kick towards the outer side. Now this will be an interesting decision for the umpire. And he says deliberate. So no one at home for East Perth at left half back. Now he's played on, he's stepped around the mark, and
Risky,
now he's in all sorts of trouble. Poor decision making and strong work as they want to get on with it, but I mean, poor decision making in the end is the result, but they turn it over. Here come Claremont again. This is through Ledger. Been pretty quiet, up towards full forward, off hands. They clean up again, East Perth. And they'll just take the air out of this now as they get players further forward along this broadcast wing. Amajuri almost steps around the mark. Plays it inboard, only to the shoelaces of a teammate. Asked a lot of him there. Well done there by Eaton. Fed it off inboard by Hand. They can transfer it to the outer side of the ground. Tracking that football now is Fullgrave. Has to recede ground. And they just look to play the possession game now from Eaton. Eaton moves it laterally and backwards. And all of that just for a rank kick down the outer side. It's going to be chopped off. So Claremont look to move it forward.
Malone.
Yep. So he's backpedaling. He has to move it forward now as the umpire blows his whistle up towards full forward. Looking for McGinnity. Through the hands. Little snap in towards goal to a vacant square. Hits the padding of the goalpost. So they dodge a bullet, East Perth.
Ailey Bennett there was able to rove the pack.
Almost doing what Allsop did at the other end of the ground. East Perth not wasting any time. They move it to the back pocket. Young's down the line offering a lead, but they elect to go further afield. More centrally to Sparks.
Sparks too has been excellent in the midfield and down back too, especially with the intercept.
So they just look now to take the air and a bit of the sting out of the sails now of the Tigers. Interesting looking kick, hugs the line with Young, and he's escorted over the line by Matthew Spores for a boundary throw in as we are inside the last 5 minutes of the Premiership quarter here at Fremantle Community Bank Oval. Big crowd packing in now. Well done to the Footy Commission. all getting this season underway in the WAFL. This is Curran. Spears a pass towards Lee. No, in fact, it's Miller. The young man just rose. He took a great mark in that third term. Kicked 3-1 on the year. Former junior Magpies of the Wembley Football Club. A lot to like about him.
A phenomenal effort there from Curran just to rove the pack and get clean possession. He was able to find a tall target there in Miller and weigh the kick enough for Miller to take a good tall mark. They need, like we mentioned earlier in the game, they need a few more tools to power that forward line.
Very similar, almost a body double to Thomas Lee. Good player to be likened to. Can he finish his good work? Tigers need this. Comes in. Ball awkwardly floats, but it goes straight, so he's got one. Miller, an athletic forward type, big body player, 198 centimetres and 90 kilos, gets his first of the afternoon, his fourth goal in the reserve season. And again, there is a pulse at Tigerland.
It's starting to grow because they've kicked 3 goals to 1 in this third term. A beautiful goal from Miller, and such a vital one too. They've kicked 3 goals to 1 in that third term, and they're really needing another one, maybe to put another sting in the tail for the Royals, but don't count out this Claremont side yet. But East Perth, if they can get a late one themselves, then that'll steady the momentum their way. We're inside the last 2.5 minutes of this premiership quarter. A great turnout here at Fremantle Community Bank Oval. I'm expecting 11,000 for the main event, which is the league at 310, South Fremantle and Claremont. But here in the reserves, just a few minutes left in this third term. Edwards gets the first tap out, dominating Goddard in the contest. Hand pass out to Amajuri. Amajuri hacks it forward towards the forward 50. Maguire overrunning it, and roving it out the back is Wallace. Wallace elects to go across the ground, a risky kick, and there was some holding on, and that's going to be against the Royals. Free kick will go the way of Jai Clark for the Tigers, and a little bit of feeling there, just needing to get the ball back to Clark. He's going to move it quickly. They'd love one more chance at goal. Courage in the air there by Malone, as was Amajuri. Ball trickles out. Players converging on the football, and it will be another ball up.
We haven't seen one player duck their head flying back with the ball this afternoon.
Edwards in front position. Taps it back now, looking for Amajuri. Tries to hack it forward to no avail. And it was Julian Amajuri taking it over the line, just beating Allsop in that contest. And it'll be another boundary throw-in alongside the South Fremantle Football Club Pavilion. And the members' seating flooding with plenty of players and fans seeing the best action in West Australia. Edwards out the back, narrowly missing the tap. It's not going anywhere further. Claremont wanting holding the ball, nothing doing. Inside the last minute of the premiership quarter, it's been Claremont who've controlled it, 3 goals to 1. They've had to slowly work their way back into the contest. East Perth, their only goal was by Allsop with a beautiful dribble from the pocket, the 16-minute mark. Ball's tapped forward to Curran. He tried to hand pass it out, but was trapped by a couple of good tacklers, and it'll be a ball up. The margin, 21 points. Be difficult to get one more score in for both teams. The siren's just about due to go in the next half minute. Curran, big punch forward. Rushforth hacks it forward. Rowe couldn't take the mark. North was able to mop up. And the short pass finding Amajuri. Royals wanting 50 but nothing doing. But East Perth, they were only held to just 1 goal in that third term, but they hold a slender 21-point lead heading into the final term. He won't have any time to boot it long. He does down the line, but the siren goes. A great third term there by Claremont. Then East Perth held to just 1 goal and 1 behind in that third term, but a vital one for Claremont indeed. 3 goals, 6-24, playing 6-9-45 on the Ross's Discount Home Centre scoreboard. A much better term for Claremont, Matt, but they had to work it slowly.
They had, and they've kicked the only goals to the left of screen this afternoon. So interesting term there for Claremont. They were goalless kicking to that end of the ground and then managing to kick 3 goals for themselves. And East Perth, well, they started the term brightly with plenty of possession. Then Claremont, I'm not sure they made some minor adjustments to their game plan, but Thomas Lee started coming into the game. Goddard was pretty good on the ball, propelling them forward, and then they had some polished finishes around the big sticks, and there's still a chance 6 goals have been kicked to the right of screen, just 3 to the left, Paul.
Yes, and it's going to be quite interesting to see how Claremont continue this momentum. They've kicked 3 goals to 1 in the third term. But one more quarter, the last 25 minutes of the season coming up to determine who will be WAFL Reserves premiers for season 2020. East Perth leading 6-9-45 to Claremont 3-6-24. We'll be back with all the final quarter action here at Fremantle Oval after this.
Grant's Car Stereo Morley. Proudly supplying and fitting quality car stereos for over 15 years. Selling top name brands like Alpine, Focal, Rockford Fosgate. From a simple upgrade to complete custom systems. Stop in and see Grant and the boys at 61 Russell Street, Morley. Or visit us online at carstereo.com.au. If you need it live streamed, you need Front Row Screens. Visit frontrowscreens.com.au.
For the next 25 minutes of football in 2020, and it is the Royals leading by 21 points. They've got one hand on it. Will they get both of them, or will it be Claremont that'll swoop in at the 11th hour? Paul Persick and Matt Chechens with you live thanks to Front Row Screens, CD Dodds, Scrap Metal Recyclers, Ross's Discount Home Centre and Grant's Car Stereo Morley. As we go to the CD Dodds, Scrap Metal Recyclers highlights, East Perth, they were able to gain control, Matt, in the early minutes of the third term, but Claremont, they were able to get their team game going like we saw against Subiaco last week and really start to peg the momentum back their way with 3 vital goals.
Yeah, 3 goals to 1 that term. Buller after 5 minutes. McGinty, who has been a bit of a live wire in that forward line, Paul, after 11 minutes. But then Allsop with that dribbling goal and with just 10 minutes remaining in that term. But then that late goal to Miller after a strong contested mark and a polished finish for him. Now, I need to correct myself because I said that there were 6 goals to the right of screen. In fact, it's only 2 goals to the right of screen in this contest, 7 goals to the left. So you can see that's quite an advantage, and that's the way in which East Perth are kicking in this fourth term.
Especially when you're going against the Breeze.
Yeah, so Claremont are going to have to respond and do something that that obviously both teams haven't done, is that's kick majors to the right of screen.
But also, when you're having a look at this game from these 3 quarters, it's all about intent. East Perth just started to take their foot off the gas a little bit, and they had players who had made big impacts in the first half really get rescinded by the pressure of Claremont. They've been playing with a lot more frontal pressure of Claremont and started to switch up a little bit in their game plan, which resulted in more effective ball movement in the forward half.
I think we need to credit Claremont as well. They obviously made some game plan adjustment at half time, and they came out. They looked to move the ball quickly, particularly from free kicks. And you have a look at Thomas Lee. I thought he had a sensational third term there for Claremont. But then also Curran, we hadn't really seen much of him in the first half.
He's been quiet.
He's stepped up. McGinty as well for Claremont. But look, I think Allsop and again Rowe, he had a really good third term.
But also McGinnity as well. Yeah. You know, that tough bloke who is always keen to explode in the forward half, and he was able to get a vital goal in off a turnover conflicted there by Benjamin Elliott. And Elliott out the front, getting the crumb in and scoring a goal from 15 metres out.
I mean, 4 goals to win the game for Claremont. They've only kicked 3 this afternoon. So credit to them for standing up in that third term. But, you know, they would have liked maybe 2 more goals to be within touching distance into such a strong Breeze.
Still going with it? Still thinking East Perth can hold on?
Yeah, I think so. And I think they'll open it up quite nicely.
And East Perth, for me as well, their experience and their class could tell. In the final 25 minutes of the 2020 WAFL Reserve season, will it be the Royals or will it be the Tigers in these last 25 minutes? It's going to be Amos doing battle with Miller in the contest in the ruck. Miller favoured by the bounce. He gets the quick hand pass out to Bennett. Bennett long kick towards left half forward. Fulgrave tries to gather. He does. Brilliantly played by Fulgrave. Takes a bounce. Looks for the hand pass over the top, but he was over the line as soon as he got it out. Boundary throw in on the outer wing of Fremantle Community Bank Oval, where the fans are starting to flock in. A great day of football is ahead. We've had a cracking reserves game so far, and then the Colts and the league coming up this afternoon. It's going to be a fantastic day of football for WAFL Grand Final Day 2020. Amajuri hacks it out of the ruck, puts boot to ball, and on the lead, Sebit Kuek takes a beautiful mark. Kuek goes across the ground, finding King. He couldn't take the mark. But out the back, Mazzando. Mazzando gets the hand pass out. Well played. Crisp and Amon. Amon's gone. Beautiful tackle there by Elliott. No free kick. Umpire calls play on. Players converging like absolute bulldogs at the pack with the football, and it's going to be a ball up. Been able to gain a few 20 metres, have East Perth. They've got themselves back under pressure now. The hand pass coming back from Amos. Sends boot to ball. Kuek! Kuek with an unbelievable leap. Again, taking a strong uncontested mark at full stretch. And he'll have a shot for his second goal.
Well, they've got really anything they've wanted throughout the afternoon. Have East Perth, and unfortunately for Claremont, last week holding the Reserve League best offence to just 25 points, and now East Perth getting off the chain. They've gone from chocolates to boiled sweets in the space of a week, Paul.
They certainly have, but it's certainly going to be a sweet feeling if Kuek gets this goal to stretch the margin out to 36 points, to 26 points, I should say.
Oh, that's a
goes for goal.
Beautiful
27
kick.
Points, the margin it is. Kuek gets his second goal. And what a difference he has made when he's got the ball in his hand. And at the 2-minute mark, the margin is 26 points, 27 points, I should say, with Kuek's second goal of the game. And he knew it. The moment it left his boot, it was going to be a sweet feeling when he gets this goal. And he certainly got that, and a well-deserved goal too. What a game he's played in the forward line.
If he gets another one, you might be a little smoky for best on ground.
Possibly in the top three, along with Rowe and the Amajuri boys.
Not the start of this fourth term that the Tigers wanted. Big day for their club. 3 grand finals is a good reward for the team that have claimed their 17th Rodriguez Shield. Combined results for the league, reserves and Colts. They've been pretty good in that aspect. Particularly in the last 11 years, they've won 5 Rodriguez Shields, up there as well with Subiaco and South Fremantle, the only other team to break that dominance in the west suburbs of Perth. That's a high shot. Free kick going the way of East Perth. Gorda.
Oh, Jamie Paul.
Now they've reversed it.
That's silly. That is silly from Jamie Paul. It's a critical stage in the grand final.
Or, no, is it coming back?
It's coming back to East Perth.
Okay. So he loads up, looks up towards the Queck again. He's going to get a run at it. Goes from behind. Offhand, snap around the corner is going to miss to the near side. But you just see how exciting Queck is wherever he's got some clean airspace to get up above the shoulders of his opponents. So Claremont, they look to move it quickly, and they have to. Long ball out by Ledger. Now towards the outer side.
Elliott.
It's going to be juggled, so Elliott has it. His heels on the paint of defensive 50. Kicks down the line, it falls short. And the mark will be paid on that outside.
How good has Rowe been across the back half, but also up the ground when he's added a few more targets inside that forward 50. Brilliantly played by Rowe again.
So Rowe uses all of his time and just looks to spear one down the line. That's a poor kick, probably his first mistake of the afternoon, straight in the hands of the opponent in Elliott. So Elliott,
he's gone.
Oh, he looked to play on, hand passed out towards Miller, did well, fed it off by hand, off towards Paul. Paul has to lose ground as well, and a high tackle, free kick going the way of the Tigers, and that was rather fortunate for Tom Ledger. So Ledger just runs around that man on the mark, kicks up towards the bullseyes. Going back was Amos, did brilliantly at ground level. They link up now through the middle of the ground. Is that holding the ball? Yes, it is. So the Tigers finally win one. The advantage is going to be paid. They just dink it over the top towards McGinty. Shows his athleticism again. Now he's got a teammate running further afield in Barton, and that's where the kick goes. Barton just plays on. Accelerates through 50, just lowers the eyes. Moves it forward up towards a teammate. Is he going to look to square it? That was Buller. No, turned it over. And that's just summed up the afternoon, unfortunately, for the Tigers.
You'd have to take the risk if the game is on the line, and they didn't. But luckily for the Tigers, Elliott mops it up with the turnover. Goes from 50, almost caught as soon as he kicked it. But the mark has been taken in the forward pocket. He's down on his haunches after a big contest, and that was Thomas Lee. And if he could kick this, it'll be a big glimmer of hope for Claremont in what is a pretty dire situation. And what about that passage by Buller? He had about 5 metres of space to go for the goal himself. Instead, he went to pass back to the corridor. You've got to take risks in high-pressure situations, especially in a grand final. So Lee, from 35, from a difficult angle, goes for goal. He's threaded it through. Thomas Lee puts the Tigers back in the contest. The margin, 22 points. As we played almost 6 minutes on the Ross's Discount Home Centre scoreboard. That's Lee's first for the morning, after having very limited impact in the first 3 quarters. But Lee looks like he'd be coming late to the party.
Well, he had a set shot from a similar position in that second term and registered a minor score. He's been very accurate as far as his scoring shot throughout the year. Came into this one 15 goals, 5. So obviously a very experienced campaigner. And leading by example there, still giving a little sniff, little glimmer of hope for the Tigers.
Hold on to your hats, viewers. This game is not over yet here at Fremantle Community Bank Oval. One side will have both hands on the Reserves Premiership Cup. Will it be the Tigers, their first in 4? Or will it be the Royals, their first dating back to 1983? Amajuri looping the hand pass over the top. Intercepted by Ledger. That was good play from Ledger. Good attack of the football. Takes a bounce on the outer wing. Kicks towards left half forward. Eaton was first to it. Read the bounce brilliantly. Goes with the hand pass out. This time it's Arbin. Arbin caught as soon as he got rid of it. Back to Amajuri. Alongside the members stand. Good play there by McKenzie. Hand pass out. Amajuri just kept on running. Goes for the bounce. And now East Perth. They're on again. Dobson goes for goal from outside the 50. And he's missed to the right-hand side. That was a bit of a lucky break there for Claremont, because the Royals, they were right on it with some great ball movement. And if that was a goal, it would have been signed, sealed and delivered.
Claremont, to their credit, have kept him goalless this afternoon. He's been a threat throughout the 2020 season.
But turned over again. Turner, hand pass out to Sparks. Looking to go over the shoulder. This time he goes with a hand pass out. Turner, hand pass out. King, back to the corridor. Brilliantly smothered there by Miller. But East Perth recover. Hooper is caught in a good tackle there by Baldwin.
How good was that smother? Desperation. Definitely saving a scoring shot.
Especially in a grand final when the game is on the line and it's on a knife. Bennett with the hand pass out, but under pressure now. East Perth recover. Dobson looking for the kick out to McKenzie. Goes back to Dobson. Breaks through one tackle. Looking for the hand pass to Amajuri. Loops it over the top. That's good football. And now they're on. Rowe, who's pushed up the ground. But it was hounded by a pride of Tigers there. And Claremont are able to gain some territory, but only temporarily. North dribbles it forward, only as far as Davis. Davis hacks it forward. This is good play. McGinnity on the edge of the centre square. They've got a target on his own. That target being Jack Buller. He takes the mark. Wonderful play from McGinnity to be able to read the contest and smuggle it out the back of the pack and find a target right away in Buller, who just had to run back with the flight of the ball and take a good mark. Now, remember last year in the final quarter when Claremont were about 15 points down, they came back to within 6 points. They've got that fighting spirit, so don't count them out just yet. So Buller, he's going to kick from about 30 metres out directly in front to put the margin back to 17 points. Directly in front. He's put it through. Buller gets another one. That's the Tigers' second. There's another glimmer of hope for Claremont here. Don't sniff them out just yet. And it's on the 9-minute mark on the Ross's Discount Home Centre scoreboard, as you can see here. Nice smooth kicking action there from Jack Buller.
Well, the man that got them back into the game, third term, kicked their first goal of the afternoon 5 minutes into that third quarter, and now he's got his second. So 8 minutes in to this final term, there's still time.
Are we sensing? Yeah. Are we sensing something here at Fremantle Oval?
And they've closed that scoring shots score as well. 18 now to 11. That's been a key area. Is that inaccuracy going to haunt East Perth? Only time will tell. Back to 3 goals.
I'd have to say Buller, McGinnity and also Lee would have to be absolutely on if they want to get Claremont, if they want to get this lead back for Claremont.
So important clearance is this one. Goddard just goes awkwardly off one step. That allows a chance for them to go inside 50. one goal will kill the game. Definitely here for East Perth. And it's straight into the hands and right on cue. They have the instant response. Read by Marley King. Waltzes into the open goal. And those ribbons now up, Paul Persick, thanks to CD Dodd, scrap metal recyclers. Have a look at this. Not much the defender could do, but reading that for the ball, Marley King, he's kicked one straight throughout the season from Carey Park in Bunbury, my hometown. The mighty Panthers puts it through, and East Perth now with some breathing room.
Well, you could say that the ribbons are going to be in black and blue this year after that goal. As you mentioned, one goal in that final quarter with the leeway that East Perth have got could kill this game, and you'd have to say East Perth, they've got this one in the bag. But there's still about 15 minutes to go, so anything can happen in a game of football. But realistically for the Tigers, they've just been overwhelmed.
But now it halves that scoring power that they had now. 2 goals apiece in the fourth term is just a little bit demoralising. So ball comes back up. Goddard this time gets a decisive fist, and the umpire may recall that. So he's going to ask for it back. The umpires have been superb today.
Great standard.
Snadden, Gibb and Fahey Gilmore. Hope I pronounced that right. Mazarak on the boundary. Weir, Williams, Lamont, and the goal umpires Dylan Jane and Ruben Garlett. So congratulations to them getting a Guernsey in the WAFL Reserves Competition Grand Final. What is a superb day, superb playing surface as well. The Colts will be up next, followed by the league. Who do you like in the Colts, Paul?
Well, I like Subiaco at the moment.
so do I.
I'd have to say, they've been the team of 2020, and I'll say Subiaco to go up. What about the league, the Bulldogs and the Tigers?
I think Claremont are going to spring a surprise and win it.
Well, Claremont, they look the freshest side, and I reckon they will cause a ball over as well. So
Their
Claremont for me.
midfield's electric. I mean, I know South Fremantle have got some ball magnets, but is Florenka back in the team today?
No, he's out.
No,
he's not playing.
It's a big out. Big out. Congrats to Sam Fisher as well.
Yeah, Swan Districts winning the Sandover medal.
That was a big surprise.
Certainly was, but he had a consistent season, averaging 26 disposals a game, and the first Swan since Andrew Cracker 10 years ago.
Yeah, superb. So congratulations to him. I thought Florenka was going to be a sure thing. Goes to show what I know. Kick forward by the Tigers by Rushforth. Up to a big pack of players. Miller flew high, couldn't take the mark. Off a step now, Will Young puts it up in the slipstream, blowing to the left of screen. East Perth at the fall of that pack, trying to duck through some heavy traffic was Davis. And his kick intercepted by number 35 in Masando. He's had a pretty solid game across all 4 quarters.
Beautiful kick.
Penetrating left foot kick to the outer side, just has enough distance on it so East Perth can look to load up. They've got 2 players on the outer side, but an awkward bouncing ball in the end is going to make hard work of what would look to be a formality on that outer side. So a high kick down the line. Will it stay in play? We await on the boundary line umpire. It is offhand, so a boundary throw in right underneath the Ross's Discount Home scoreboard.
You could say that East Perth, well, they've got those jewels on the crown and have got the ribbons on the cup. The
Some
margin,
of your best work there, Paul.
The margin only 23 points, but East Perth, with those 2 vital goals in the space of 8 minutes, although being sandwiched by Liam Buller's goals for the Tigers in that final term, they're just showing their experience in this side. Curran, who's been quiet this morning, gets boot to ball. Tigers having the numbers out the front of the football. The hand pass out to Hitchcock. Outrun there by Mazzando, but beautifully played there by Elliott. A brilliant second effort. Gets boot to ball. Partially smothered there by Mazzando, but there is some high contact against Mazzando, and it's going to be a free kick going the way of Miller. And this will be what you'd say a late consolation for the Tigers. Miller will have the shot on a slight angle from about 48 metres out. And this will decrease the margin for East Perth back to 17 points. If he can get this goal. This will be for his second. Buller's kick 2. Can Miller join him? From just inside the 50. High kick towards the top of the goal square. It's not going to make the distance. No mark taken. Hand pass over the top, and East Perth, with more numbers out the back, can recover. The kick out towards his teammate there in Turner. He couldn't take the mark, but roving out the back was Alsop, who's also got 2 for the game. He's had a great game this afternoon. Short pass to Hooper. Needs an obliging bounce. Hooper goes down the line. He bombs it long towards goal, and it's going to fall across the face for a behind.
Well, Shaq McKenzie just lost his feet. Credit to the Tigers defender who wore him like a glove in that situation, so they bring it into the pocket. Now that ball bounced, so the Claremont player thought he'd been paid the mark, and he wasn't. So he has to kick long to a 2-on-1, just ghosting in at the side taking a great, well-timed mark was Jake Anderson. So his teammates saying just move it on quickly. So from the point of the centre square, goes long and high up towards Queck, off hands. East Perth with numbers again at the fall of the ball. We've said that throughout. Good, strong body work. And East Perth look to bottle it in and force the stoppage. Good defensive work there from Daisley.
Yeah, he had the presence of mind to really wipe Jonty Turner out of the contest there with a good hip and shoulder, because he was in better position close to the boundary line.
I think Daisley was the one that managed to shut down Mackenzie on that last play. Otherwise, they would have had an easy tap in from the goal square. Boundary throw in. Goddard is battled manfully throughout the day. Snap around the corner for the Royals by Turner, and he's put it through. Signed, sealed, delivered. Jonty Turner. Game over. Paul Persick, you haven't copyrighted that phrase, unfortunately.
No, I haven't. But
Free game, but have a look at this. CD Dodd, Scrap Metal Recyclers. Goddard was just out-bodied. Turner off one step, floats it through. It's going to be a 37-year drought broken to the Royals, and congratulations to them.
And well deserved too. You know, they've been able to show their true class in the second and fourth quarters. And in that third quarter, when they started to get overwhelmed with a lot of possession at the football not going their way, they were able to just keep their composure and keep their natural game going. They've been playing to the fundamentals of this game. 16 and a half minutes.
He's kicked 2 goals. He kicked 1 in the second term and now 1 in the fourth. So he likes that end of the ground. Actually kicked 2 goals against the Tigers back in round 5. Now the non-officiating umpire is signalling.
Extra player in the 450.
So the Tigers, it's all gone wrong at the moment. They lined up incorrectly, so they're going to have to come over and man up on Marley King. And that man for the Tigers in the wrong spot was Isaac Barton. Probably not his fault, to be fair. Slap forward, up towards Davis. Davis ran out of time and room. East Perth, again, they just unrelenting in their tackling, and that's a high one. So Claremont play on. That's been a rare sight. They kick up towards full forward. Tall timber there and Lee and Miller. Neither could take the mark. Kindly spinning ball into the arms there of Marley King, and he spots a teammate at true centre half back, and the Royals just waiting for that final siren.
They'll be celebrating all night over at Leederville Oval as Arbin from centre half back goes across the ground. Risky kick, but at ground level a good mark by Bradley Fulgrave. He's been okay in this final term. Centering kick now, beautiful kick, and finds Marley King. King at centre half back goes across the ground and finds Daniel Rao. What a game he's played in the defensive half. He's been immense all throughout the afternoon. Going for the short pass and finds Mazzando. They want to control the ball as long as they can, and they can. And they've got a 30-point margin. Arbin goes with a penetrating kick towards half forward, no mark. Beautiful tackle there put on Davis. And we'll have another ball up alongside the centre square. Some of the East Perth players walking past our commentary position. They'll be celebrating at ground level when the final siren goes. King can't take clean possession. Ledger. He's been quiet in patches today, but it's turned over immediately. It's back and forth football, and the mark taken by Jamie Paul on right half back. Goes back inboard towards Curran. He can't take clean possession. Good gather to Goddard. Goddard hacks it forward towards the offensive side of centre. Front and square was McGinnity. Great play from McGinnity. He elects to go for the pass out towards Miller, but running back, a great mark at the back of the ball. Nathan Eaton. He too has been immense in this game. Eaton with a beautiful kick out to Young from left half back. Nathan Young looking for some options here. They can slow it down if they want to. From left half back. Sends it long down the line. Brilliantly punched away, but Goddard was able to get the first touch and take the mark. On the outer wing. Goes towards the centre. And leaping back again, Young. What a game he's played, Young. On left half back, we played 19 minutes in this final term. East Perth leading by 30 points.
And a lot of blue and black jumpers in support, starting to head to the right of our screen, just down towards the interchange gates. No doubt wanting to join in on the celebrations as they move the ball down the outer wing, but they've given away a free kick. Have East Perth. It's going into the hands of the big ruckman in Goddard. He is battled manfully, and every minute of this contest. Amos has had a superb game as well. His opponent in the blue and black, Claremont, back inside 50. It was always going to be a tough ask at three-quarter time, kicking into a strong breeze. Goddard in on the scene as well. Just elect to try and tow the ball. Can they keep it alive? they can. Still not wanting to give away anything, East Perth at the moment, and failing to keep the ball in play. It was a slick pickup from Shaq McKenzie, but out of play.
If you just sum up the final term from a Claremont point of view, they had a good start in the early minutes, getting the goals, but in the end they just got overwhelmed by the pressure. Yeah,
and a pretty fortuitous goal as well. I mean, an awkward bouncing, spinning ball that was sharked by King to just really take the wind out of the sails. Claremont, let's give credit to them. As we said, such a strong club.
Having to come from 1 and 3 early on in the season to even make the 4.
Yeah, and to win their next 3, and then to win an elimination final, and then to roll Subiaco, and that was a convincing win, as you'll see in that prelim final last week. But just unfortunately, just running into a rampant East Perth team that's going to finish the season 9-0.
And undefeated. Yeah. It's been the trend of undefeated teams winning premierships.
Yeah.
In the last 3 years or so. Subiaco a couple of years ago in the league, and now East Perth in the reserves.
And a 37-year drought obviously going to be broken, Paul, but credit to them in the fact that they've lost 5 reserves grand finals to the Tigers in their history, and for them to finally break that duck today is a credit to them. So East Perth still looking to slide in on hands and knees. That was a high shot, and a free kick rightfully coming the way of the Royals. Right in the middle of the ground. They look to just reload again. Lax manning up on the mark, so he kicks long and high. Big fly by Queck again. Shark well by the Tigers defender. Tumbling ball in towards the middle of the ground. Now there's a push, and it's going the way of East Perth. So a player gets dumped off the ball right as the Tigers were looking to rebound.
And that free kick is going to be taken by Amajuri, and he'll be inside the centre square. He's just down on his haunches. He must have copped a hard one there indeed. But he's a tough nut to crack. He'll take the free kick. But he can slow the clock down as much as he wants, because East Perth, they know they're home, and they'll take home the premiership. North goes down the line, and East Perth, they'll look for maybe one more killer blow. Long penetrating kick towards the forward 50. Queck leaping over the top. No mark. Ledger at ground level. Hacks it forward outside a defensive 50. Overrunning it there was Curran. Good second effort though from Curran. And now Miller. Hand pass out. Elliott can't break through the Eaton tackle. He's taken over the line. That intensity of the Royals side proving valuable in this final term. And a lot of black and blue in the main stands here at Fremantle Community Bank Oval. Going to be Amos. Amos was the only nominated ruckman. Almost snatched it out of midair. Davis caught in a great tackle there by Amos. What's the umpire going to say? They'll say nothing doing. Inside the last 2 minutes of this reserves grand final, the margin 30 points. East Perth kicking 3 goals to 2 thus far in the final term. They were held to 1 in the first and the third. But class is really telling. The coaching staff running out onto the ground in a joyful mood, and rightfully so. Aaron Ballantyne, his first year as reserves coach, is going to cap it off with a premiership, an undefeated season in 2020. Amos and Goddard from the boundary throw-in on the outer wing of the ground. Goddard wins front position and gets the tap out towards Rushford. Rushford, he's taken over the line again by for a throw-in. And you can see the whistles and the cheers, and hear the whistles and the cheers. And as you can see on the bench, East Perth, they know they've got it. They've got it signed, sealed and delivered for 2020, and they did it without losing a game. Amos again wins front position. Elliott, hand pass. Harley Sparks. Final minute of this grand final. Sparks. Beautiful kick out towards Arbor, but he couldn't take the mark. And able to get clean possession there was Riley. Riley on centre half back. He kicks in the direction there of Malone. And combining brilliantly there with Barton. Barton, hand pass out. Buller. Up and under kick towards the half forward line. And a great mark there by Bailey Bennett. They know they'll have to move it quickly, but it won't make a difference, because Claremont, they'll know that another grand final victory has gone away. Bennett. He'll have a shot from about 45 metres out. Directly in front. Drop punt on its way. And it's across the face for a behind. 29 points the difference. And that'll stay that way. Fans of the Royals You've waited 37 years for a reserves premiership, but it's finally come your way. East Perth are reserves premiers for 2020. The Royals streaming out onto the ground, and rightfully so. The celebrations begin. Not just here at Fremantle Community Bank Oval, but all around the northern suburbs that have supported black and blue. Soak it in, because this one's for you, East Perth, premiers and undefeated in 2020. A great victory to East Perth by 29 points, and the celebrations just beginning here at Fremantle Community Bank Oval. And what a great triumph for the side. 37 years without a reserves premiership. And Aaron Ballantyne, his first year as reserves coach, and he's netted off not only an unbeaten season, but also a premiership flag. You can't do better than that.
Congratulations to him. You can see what it means to these players as well. There's young Rowe. How good was he today?
Immense.
Will probably be in the top three for best on ground. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that Queck's going to get BOG today.
I reckon not just that, but because of his leadership as well, because he's one of the great X factors for the East Perth side.
Yeah.
And what a happy man he'll be at 20 years of age and in the reserve side. Should be playing league by now and winning a premiership with the East Perth Football Club. An amazing story for that young man.
Commiserations obviously to Claremont as well. Rodriguez Shield winners. They've got still two more teams featuring this afternoon. They take on Subiaco and the Colts in the next bounce, and then the big one against South Fremantle. And credit to Stephen Miller. I thought he had a great game in a losing team today. He was a good, strong mark. Had a polished finish. Gave him a little bit of glimmer. As did Thomas Lee, who was fair to say had a better second half than his first half.
Yes.
But leading by example. And I thought Goddard was pretty good in a losing team this afternoon.
Well, he dominated for much of the hitouts in the first half, but he just lacked that support from the midfield because most of his taps were only as far as East Perth players.
Yep. Christian Amajuri, he had a really good first half. I thought, Paul, when the game was there to be won, didn't really win much of the ball in that second half, but he really drove a lot, particularly in that second term when East Perth opened that game up. He was propelling them inside 50, and the other Amajuri was pretty handy as well, Julian.
Yeah, he certainly was. The Amajuri boys both proving very reliable in the midfield, but also for that last quarter alone, Fulgrave was great in the back line. He was able to get a few key possessions when Claremont were inching deep in that forward 50, but also you had guys like Amos in the ruck. Yeah. He was able to do much more around the football compared to Goddard, especially with the marks on the forward half. So he, out of the rucks, was the superior in that one today. And the celebrations continuing for East Perth. They know that after a season of uncertainty and the possible prospect of not having football at all, they went in undefeated, 7 wins and no losses in the preliminary games, then soundly beating Subiaco in the second semi-final. And they've done the same thing in ruthless fashion after a big final term, outgunning the Tigers by 29 points and winning their first reserves premiership since 1983, a long time ago indeed. But it's such a great moment, especially in the midst of, chaos and panic that's been going on in the world. You'd love to see a premiership celebration, regardless of what club you support.
We're very fortunate to have had a season over here, and obviously a very strong Colts competition, and no doubt there'll be a lot of scouts that have kept an eye on some of the young talent, because a lot of other states unfortunately not in that position. And then the reserves, you have a look at some of these the East Perth players that are pushing to get a league game for East Perth in a team that finished 5th this year. But let's have a look at some of the highlights. Thanks to CD Dodd Scrap Metal Recyclers. Who caught your eye this afternoon, rather this morning, Paul?
Well, I have to say Daniel Rowe was one of them. His efforts out of the defensive 50 and also pushing up the ground as well, being able to add a little bit more speed to that line. He was incredibly intense at ground level, but also he's pretty good in the air. He made about 1 or 2 leaps to get first to the football. He really showed his desperation. Queck for East Perth, I thought too, was tremendous, as well as Allsop up forward. He was able to kick a few vital goals in there as well. Turner was also tremendous inside that forward line, and even Mackenzie at the defensive half of centre as well. So he too was incredible. For Claremont, in the meantime, you had Curran. He was quiet. His impact was limited. I thought I would have seen a better game from him, but also McGinnity, he was very versatile. volatile in that forward half for much of that game. And also Minia in the first quarter. Rushforth and Elliott, they really played their hearts out this morning in that game. And also Jeremy Goddard getting those tap-outs, but unfortunately just lacked that support in that area.
I mean, obviously deserved winners. They go 9-0 throughout the year, but they had a 9-point lead at quarter time. They extended that to 34 points. And then Claremont hit back within 21 points at three-quarter time. I just felt that they needed to be within two goals, but obviously not to be. Presentation's about to happen, Paul.
Yep, let's go to ground level at Fremantle Community Bank Oval for the presentations of the medals and the Premiership Cup. And the best on ground medal has gone to number 13, Christian Amajuri. Let's go to him now.
Thanks, Kay. And Christian also receives the match ball as a memento of his great game today. Also with us here today to help with the Reserves Grand Final presentation is former East Perth coach and local Fremantle identity, Tony McHale. I'd like to invite Tony to come forward now and present the Premiership medallions to each player in the victorious Royals side. Number 1, Will Young. Number 8, Kieran Alsop.
How good was Alsop today? 2 goals.
Yeah, Alsop was a big key in that second half when the game was in the balance.
Number 9, Julian Amajuri.
Amajuri
Won't be the favourite tonight with Christian taking our best on ground. There's
No,
still
I
a
don't
handy
think so.
performance.
There'll be an interesting conversation at the dinner table tonight.
Number 14, Shaquille McKenzie.
Shaquille McKenzie.
Number 16, Mitchell
Dobson, he was kept goalless throughout that game, but he had a couple of good passages in the final few minutes.
I think the attention he got freed other players like Alsop to be able to kick 2 goals today.
Number 19, Bradley Fulgrave.
Fulgrave, as we mentioned, decent final quarter from him, gathering a few good possessions. Hooper getting a vital goal in that second quarter when the game was going their way.
25, Ben Maguire.
Maguire was held goalless, but his performances up the ground, Matt, we can agree, were really intense.
Number 35, Jacob Masando.
His work down back, Jacob Bazando, he kept his composure and was well balanced at ground level and in the air.
Captain of the East Perth Football Club.
Nathan Arbin, he'll be the one that'll have both hands on the Premiership Cup in just a matter of minutes. And what a happy man he will be, as will all of the East Perth Football Club.
Love the work of Jonty Turner today.
Yeah, he really showed his composure in key moments, scoring 2 goals this morning. Think about Jack Cooley as well, scoring the first.
Number 48, Tom Amos.
Superior ruckman in that game. He did a lot more around the football. North too in the defensive zone was a key intercept for the Royals.
54, Sevek Kuek.
What about Sevek Kuek? 2 inspiring goals to effectively seal the premiership for the Royals.
Particularly that very late goal, 23rd minute, where he backed himself and managed to thread it from that tight angle. Really helped assert the dominance for East Perth heading into the main break.
He's got that ability to take risks as well, as does this man, Daniel Rowe,
superb.
From defence. Would have been a close second or third in the best on ground.
Skipper Nathan Arbon to receive your medallion and 2020 Premiership pennant, and say a few words on behalf of the team.
Nathan Arbin, we're going to go to ground level as he says a few words. And a team photo. There's your victorious Premiership side in the reserves, and East Perth fans savour this moment. And the coach, Aaron Ballantyne, in his first season as East Perth reserves coach, and no better way to do it, winning a Premiership Cup in your first season as reserves coach. Next year, well, all sides will have the challenge of trying to dethrone the Premiership pennant from that man and East Perth. Being presented with his medal there from Tony McCarve. Here's a few words at ground level.
East Perth coach Aaron Ballantyne.
Thanks very much. Firstly, to Ryan, all the Claremont boys, you're an outstanding footy club. We respect you highly. great year, and good luck for the following year to come. Just to the WAFL, so to Lukey, Hugs, Kate, Ash, and all the sponsors, thanks very much for putting the year on. It was a difficult year, we understand that, but we're glad that you put the year on, and thank you very much. To all these Perth sponsors, to Barty, Dean, Warren, all the footy department, well done. We set ourselves a goal and we've completed that, so outstanding effort from you guys. To all our supporters, we say it every week, but you are the best supporters in the comp. We appreciate all that you do. We're here, and thank you very much. And finally, to our players, you're a unique group. We love what you do, we love what you bring. Great effort today, and let's get back to Leadville and celebrate properly. Cheers.
Thanks, Aaron, and thanks to our special guest. Let's hear now for the 2020 Optus Reserves WAFL Premiers, East Perth.
And the moment that everyone has been waiting for, Nathan Arbin is going to grab the cup with coach Aaron Ballantyne. He's brought one of his teammates along for the celebration, Julian Amajuri. Here's the moment. They've had to wait amongst the season uncertainty, and have had to prepare so hard for when a season eventually got underway. But East Perth not only winning the premiership, but going through the reserve season unbeaten. And it's their first reserves flag since 1983. What a special moment. And you could say, I think we speak for all football fans, not just here in WA, around the country, but to shadow all the chaos that has been around in 2020, you'd love a true feel-good moment.
Congratulations to East Perth. That is a comprehensive win in what's been a comprehensive and highly successful season.
Certainly has been, and the players will head to the change rooms now to resume their celebrations, but no doubt they'll be going on over at the Leadville Members Bar all throughout the day. And think about it, 1983, the last time they won a reserves premiership, they had to ride the wave for so long amidst all the instability over the 37 years that they had to endure as a club. And now, and of course, at the midst of all the league premierships, including the hat-trick to start the new millennium, but to do it in a reserves premiership, you can't do anything but good. And well done to Aaron Ballantyne and all the coaching staff, the administration, and all of the fans and members that have supported East Perth through and through. And I'll get a few more photos. Will East Perth with that famous premiership pennant. It may not have been at Optus Stadium today, but it's all the same when it's anywhere. And when you win a premiership, regardless of where you are, it is truly a feel-good moment. East Perth, well-deserved premiers. They've won it by 29 points, 9-12 to 5-7. We're not far away from wrapping things up. We will give you access to the club rooms while they sing their song with plenty of gusto. And in fact, we won't, I should say. But nonetheless, the celebrations, Matt, no doubt they will continue on. Just to summarise quickly, from both sides, from their own individual point of view, where did it go right for East Perth and where did it go wrong for Claremont in such a critical stage?
I think the game was won and lost in that second term, where East Perth basically got off the chain. I mean, they kicked 1-5 in that first term to the right of screen. That was into a pretty stiff breeze, and Claremont didn't make use of that. And they were held to 0-4 across 2 quarters, and then for East Perth to use the breeze, kicking 4 goals in that second term, and a lot of that was on the back of best on ground performer in Amajuri. And then I just think they had more impact players. Queck, you have a look at him, you look at Rowe in the back line. So I just think on every line across the ground they had somebody that could be a match winner, whereas Claremont just unfortunately didn't have enough contributors today. But like we said, they went 1-3 to start their season. For them to fight back and to actually make a grand final is a credit to them. But East Perth, they were a well-drilled machine. You could see in that third term, and even in stages of the second term early on, they weathered the storm from Claremont, because Claremont, they must have been sparked into action in that second term. They had a lot of forward 50 entries, but the East Perth backline just held up, and then they made them pay on the other end of the ground. Especially with those 3 goals in the final quarter that effectively sealed the premiership for the Royals. Matt Hitchens, it's been a pleasure across the season covering WAFL football with you. Thank you, Paul.
Hopefully see it again in 2021.
Yeah, exactly. And I just want to just really thank, it's been an absolute privilege, and thanks to Front Row Screens and also to the the WA Footy Commission and the WAFL for giving me the opportunity to broadcast in what has been testing times throughout the winter and obviously around the world. And what they do, Front Row Screens, and promoting local sport is amazing, and the coverage has been nothing short of sensational. And Paul, congratulations on a wonderful season. Your preparation, you're meticulous in what you do, and you're passionate about your sport. It's been fantastic working alongside you.
Likewise
so
for you, mate. Thank you very much. It's gratefully appreciated. But we also thank all the viewers that have been watching across the 2020 season, wherever they may be, whether it be at the ground or at home, watching on our live stream, whether it's on Facebook or on the WAFL website. It's been an absolute joy across 2020, even in these crazy times. And as East Perth celebrate, we look forward to the other 2 games that will be coming your way on Channel 7 in just about 20 minutes' time, and also at 3:10. But on behalf of all the team at Front Row Screens, Matt Williamson, Ryan Ramage, all our camera people, all our technicians, and all our fellow commentators across the WAFL and the WAFLW season, this is Paul Persick wishing you a very good afternoon from Fremantle Community Bank Oval, where it was the Royals breaking a 37-year premiership drought in reserves, defeating Claremont by 29 points. Bye for now.
This WAFL live stream is proudly brought to you by Ross's Discount Home Centre, Grant's Car Stereo Morley, Front Row Screens, your local streaming superheroes, and CD Dodd, Scrap Metal Recyclers.